Chapter 444. As Gu Qingshan sensed the presence of the dark tunnel, he realized. So that's what it is, the demons have taken over the path between the human realm and Huang Quan, he said. System, please help me check if there are any unknown demons in this tunnel. Countless unknown demons detected. Checking one at a time is too complicated and will greatly affect the battle. If you want to switch to real-time detection, please pay 10 soul points per second, the system replied. 10 soul points per second? That's a bit expensive, Gu Qingshan thought for a bit. But the demons I'm facing right now are all demons that have never appeared in both the real world and the cultivation world. If I don't have any information, I'll be at a disadvantage in battle. Gu Qingshan checked his 2,100 soul points and nodded. All right, let's begin. Following his words, the war god Ui began to let out a series of beeping sounds. A few lines of glowing text appeared on the war god Ui. War god Ui is entering detection mode, synchronizing with user's inner sight. Connecting with user's inner sight. Beginning to establish information system, user can now check the type and strength of monsters in real time. Gu Qingshan checked himself and found that he hadn't changed at all. He asked in confusion, "How do I start the detection?" "Just like normal, use your inner sight to scan. You'll be able to see the type and description of the monster," the system replied. "That convenient?" Gu Qingshan frowned in surprise. He released his inner sight and scanned the dark tunnel. A grayish-white snake-like monster reached out its claws to grab onto the vertical wall, silently hiding in the shadows of the tunnel. This monster has no eyes, no scales on its body. Its entire body seems to be soaked in water, dripping wet. It turned its head towards Gu Qingshan's direction, using its two nostrils to sniff something. As Gu Qingshan scanned the monster with his inner sight, a notification popped up in his mind. Dark Blood Demon Serpent, a demon that specializes in fighting in the space vortex and the Devil's Realm, strength comparable to an Ascended Realm late-stage cultivator. This Dark Blood Demon Serpent is the same realm as Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan's inner sight went past this monster and continued to scan deeper. The dark cave was filled with demons. They were densely packed and endless, occupying the entire cavern. Bone-devouring demon frog, specialized in dealing with demons from the Huang Quan path and the Hungry Ghost path. Its specialty is spitting out sticky substances. Its strength is equivalent to an Ascended Realm middle stage, sharp bone demon, a demon that fights in close combat. Its bones are the sharpest and can cut through spells of the 5 elements. Its strength is equivalent to a late original level cultivator. 100-clawed giant worm. The detailed information of countless monsters appeared in her mind, but it did not affect Gu Qingshan's thinking at all. At this time, Gu Qingshan felt as if he had fought against these demons for countless years. He knew every type of monster like the back of his hand. "Not a bad experience," he commented. "You get what you pay for," the system replied. In Gu Qingshan's spiritual will, the Dark Blood Demon Serpent was quietly moving towards his direction. In a few breaths, the demonic Flood Dragon was right below him. The demonic Jiao raised its head and stared at him in the darkness. Gu Qingshan waved her hand and held the Earth Sword. He held the Chao Yin sword with a backhand grip. Both swords in hand. Gu Qingshan disappeared. Sha! The Dark Blood Demon Serpent was struck by his sword. Feeling the pain, the demonic Flood Dragon jumped up from the wall of the cave. The moment before it jumped, it was already dead. The Dark Blood Demon Serpent's body flipped in the air, its bones and limbs scattered, turning into a black mist of blood. The bloody mist floated up along with the chilly wind blowing from the cave. Gu Qingshan sheathed her sword. With a single strike, she killed a Dark Blood Demon Serpent of the same level. With such ease, if anyone else was watching, they would find it hard to believe. Truthfully, Gu Qingshan was a sword cultivator who specialized in combat, not to mention she had lightning spirit energy, so she naturally had an advantage when it came to killing demons. Lightning spirit energy, also known as smiting, can increase a cultivator's damage by 30% against demons. Another 30% increase in strength from an Ascended Realm late-stage cultivator would be equivalent to a Sainted Realm early-stage cultivator. In other words, when facing demons, Gu Qingshan's strength would be equivalent to a Sainted Realm Sword Saint. Gu Qingshan stood straight on the wall of the cave. Black blood flowed down her swords. This seemed to have provoked the demons. They madly rushed towards Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan's inner sight scanned through each and every one of the demons, recalling their characteristics in his mind. 3 more monsters rushed up the wall, opening their mouths to bite him. Gu Qingshan's swords moved. Countless sword phantoms pierced through the darkness, exploding everywhere. The monsters were cut to pieces, scattered by the wind of the swords. Inside the dark cave, it felt like it was raining blood. The stench of blood from the corpses of the demons caused even more demons to become vicious, roaring and roaring. A roar, followed by a wave of ferocious roars. At once, the entire dark cave trembled. More and more demons sensed the presence of Gu Qingshan's soul. This was what they were craving. They all began to move. All the demons in the dark cave were like boiling water, rushing up to the top of the cave at high speed. Gu Qingshan suddenly stood still on the wall. He set his title skill to Ace Hitman, then released his inner sight to scan through all the monsters. At this point, a few dozen monsters had already climbed up. "You're guarding the entrance to hell, but you didn't go to hell to take a look," Gu Qingshan observed the monsters and commented. The monsters roared and surrounded him. Not even a drop of water could escape. More and more of them were rushing up. Any soul that tried to enter Huang Quan would be devoured by them in this cave. They've already gotten used to waiting for their prey. In the darkness, Gu Qingshan muttered, "Seeing how dedicated you are, I'll personally send you off." Before he finished speaking, a flower of darkness appeared out of thin air on the rock wall. Sword phantoms bloomed, secret art drawn shadow. All the sword phantoms scattered, turning into black streaks of light. The demons felt like they were in a meat grinder. Their flesh and blood were being chopped off bit by bit. Blood rained down like rain. "You've obtained 10 soul points. You've obtained 17 soul points. You've obtained 8 soul points. You've killed the other in 1 strike, spirit energy has been returned. You've killed the other in 1 strike, spirit energy has been returned. You've killed the other in 1 strike, spirit energy has been returned." Gu Qingshan sheathed his sword and looked down at the cave. The several thousand meters wide cave was filled to the brim with demons. They were drenched in blood and flesh, but they still couldn't wait to rush up and devour the delicious souls. Gu Qingshan's mind moved and released the Earth Sword. His War God title also changed to UG General. "Kill as you please, I don't believe any demons can take a single hit from you," Gu Qingshan said. "Got it," the Earth Sword spoke. Like a streak of light, the sword flew straight at the demons. In reality, without a sword cultivator's sword style, a normal flying sword can't block an enemy. Unless it's a flying sword with a weapon spirit, the sword spirit can easily control the sword and perform basic attack. The Earth Sword moved on its own, flying straight down. Slash. Slash. Quickly slash. Besides slashing, the Earth Sword didn't do anything else. But in the entire dark cave, not a single demon could take a single slash of the Earth Sword's 86,370,000 tons. Gu Qingshan stood in the air. He was leisurely watching the Earth Sword slaying demons. On the War God UI, the notifications of combat notifications kept popping up. "You've obtained 17 soul points. You've obtained 11 soul points. You've obtained 21 soul points." Even though detecting demons costs 10 soul points per second, after an hour of killing, Gu Qingshan's soul points had returned to 3,000. Gu Qingshan was very satisfied with this. After a while, he suddenly put the Earth Sword away. The bustling demons were all gone. This caused some of the more secretive presences in the void of space to show themselves. Gu Qingshan's expression became serious. At some point, the entire dark cave became silent. Gu Qingshan was very sure that he didn't kill all the demons. In his mind, he saw a few demons whose cultivation bases were too low, sticking to the rock wall, motionless. Looking at their fearful expressions, if he were to move a few times, they'd be scared and run away. Gu Qingshan lightly tapped his foot and flew down into the cave. Chapter 445. Gu Qingshan stuck close to the wall as he flew downwards. Cold wind filled the entire dark cave, occasionally erupting from the depths of the ground and howling towards the top of the cave. A lingering shadow appeared in Gu Qingshan's heart. A line of glowing text appeared on the war god UI, reminding him of his current situation. Currently passing through the Huangquan passage. The path ahead has been blocked by demons. Please wait for confirmation before moving forward. Confirmation complete. The strongest demon ahead is an ascended realm late stage. Please fight as hard as you can. Gu Qingshan released his inner sight and moved forward with his sword in hand. At the same realm, killing is the easiest thing for him. Even if it's a sainted realm cultivator, with Gu Qingshan's sword saint-level fighting prowess, he should be able to put up a fight. Not too long after, the second battle ended. Gu Qingshan continued to go deeper. He held the earth sword and Chao Yin's sword in hand, not letting them go. He couldn't help but take a defensive stance as he moved forward. Time slowly passed. After a while, Gu Qingshan suddenly stopped. There was nothing within the range of his inner sight. But Gu Qingshan silently retreated a few feet. It wasn't until he felt a bit more assured that he stopped. He carefully crouched down on the wall, carefully sensing the faint existence that was drifting about in the darkness. The darkness seemed to have become a tangible substance, deep and silent. After a while, Gu Qingshan finally sensed an unknown presence. Right, this is the presence that's making me feel uneasy. He carefully used his inner sight to wrap around the presence, carefully checking it. Without any warning, a feeling that could cause one to fall into a trance suddenly appeared. It was the same feeling he felt when the guillotine chopped down on him. This kind of terrifying feeling suddenly arrived, fiercely attacking his entire soul. If it was someone who's never felt this before, they might be able to quickly escape from it. After all, there's only a tiny bit of this presence. But Gu Qingshan didn't escape right away. He was trembling madly. Because it was too sudden. Because he already knew what kind of existence was waiting for him at the bottom of the cave. Gu Qingshan looked down. Below. In the depths of the dark cave, which was extremely far away from him, the faint aura emitted from the demon god's body was once again blown up by the cold wind. This aura continued to invade Gu Qingshan's senses, causing him to recall some things that happened too long ago. How unexpected! Gu Qingshan muttered in a low voice. He took a deep breath and exhaled. Finally, he regained his composure. In his previous life, the moment when he perished together with the demon god would forever remain in his heart. He had never forgotten the aura of the demon god. He had never forgotten the feeling that the demon god gave off. He would never allow himself to forget anything related to the demon god. Forgetting the past meant betrayal. Gu Qingshan woke up from the past. He began to think about whether he should continue this exploration or not. The demon lord was guarding the Yellow Springs passage. This was almost unsolvable. Suddenly, a voice came from the darkness not far away. Save me. His voice was as soft as a mosquito's, filled with extreme despair, as if he would die in the next second. Gu Qingshan was a bit surprised. From where the voice came from, the person calling for help was very far away from the demon lord, but very close to Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan didn't move forward, instead retreated as fast as he could, heading back the way he came. At the same time, 2 new lines of notification appeared on the war god UI. Currently passing the last section of the Yellow Springs passage. The notification suddenly turned blood red. There is a demon lord ahead. If the player goes there, being killed instantly is the only outcome. Gu Qingshan retreated, and retreated, until he reached a place he felt was safe. He crouched down on top of a vertical rock wall and put the Chow Yin's sword on the ground. "Go bring that person here. Be careful, don't let them find out," Gu Qingshan whispered. The Chow Yin's sword let out a woo-woo sound, stuck close to the rock wall and silently flew down. After an unknown amount of time, the Chow Yin's sword brought a person back. When it was about 20 meters away from Gu Qingshan, the Chow Yin's sword stopped. Gu Qingshan released his inner sight to check on the other party. This person was like a melted candle, only able to crawl on the ground, unable to do anything like a normal human. "Hoo, oi, oi." The other party was making hurried noises, but his condition was getting worse. He couldn't even speak properly anymore. "You can't be saved," Gu Qingshan whispered. Sword phantoms continued to flash. Countless tiny sword phantoms moved at the same time, slicing the person into a puddle of blood. A faint figure appeared from the puddle of blood. It was a soul. As soon as the soul appeared, the first thing he did was look at his own body. When he found out that he was really dead, he immediately showed a look of joy. The soul spoke to Gu Qingshan. "You've helped me a lot, I'll soon be transported back by a preset spell, so let's keep this short. No need to be so polite, why are you here? Or with your body?" Gu Qingshan asked. The soul replied, "For the past few months I've been coming here every once in a while to study the demons." Gu Qingshan couldn't believe it. "There are countless types of demons, how could you do such a thing? Aren't you afraid of running into a demon that you can't win against?" The soul sighed. "It wasn't until the moment of my death that I realized that I was too immersed in studying the unknown, forgetting the dangers of the unknown. Thank you for killing me, so that I wouldn't have to become a part of that demon lord. This is a great favor that I can't repay, so is there anything I can help you with? How did you enter this place with your body? This is a very crude method." The soul showed a puzzled expression. "Because I don't know how to use my soul to leave my body, I had no choice but to come here with my body. Actually, it's even more dangerous to come here with your body, because it's too easy to get hurt or killed." Gu Qingshan nodded. The soul seemed to have sensed something and said, "I have to return to my own world. I've prepared a backup vessel for my soul there. To repay you, before I leave, I'll tell you a secret. Please tell me." The soul briefly organized his words and spoke. "After countless years of research, I believe that there is a unique thing that is helping the demons." "A unique thing?" "Yes, it's an indescribable existence that can help demons grow faster. Fiendish demons of different levels have different things like this." "What exactly is the thing that you're talking about?" "I don't know either, but that thing definitely exists." The soul's expression was filled with fear. "That's right, that thing definitely exists, definitely." He chanted a long incantation. Ting, the sound of metal hitting the ground. Gu Qingshan looked back, only to see a small metal seal rolling on the ground a few times. The metal seal jumped up by itself and hovered in front of the soul. "I have to go. This is the emblem of our spire's guardian. Unless it's a great favor, we would never reveal it to anyone. Take it, if you ever meet one of our people, show this to him. He will definitely help you. I really have to go. Goodbye." With a small sound, the soul disappeared. The metal seal slowly flew in front of Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan caught it. On the emblem, there was a dark tower, towering over a red plain. As Gu Qingshan looked at this spire, he felt it was a bit familiar. "This seems to be the same lighthouse I saw when I went through the space vortex towards the giant black corpse's world. Which means there are existences that took root in the space vortex." Gu Qingshan put the emblem away and began to think about what the man said before he left. "Helping the demons grow faster," Gu Qingshan mused. With a flash of inspiration, he recalled a not-so-distant past of Baihua sect. Before the semester examination, the master and disciple of Baihua sect once talked about demons. Qin Xiaolu sighed. "A few sainted realm demons would pop up from time to time, but our human race only has 3 sainted realm cultivators after so many years. I really don't understand, is it really that easy for demons to reach Sainted Realm? Qin Shaolu was a bit annoyed. At the time, 100 Flowers Fairy continued, Sainted Realm demons win purely through sheer numbers, a single one of them isn't even enough for me to fight with one hand. Sorrow and Xian Yuan also felt the same, we really can't do anything about it. We're clearly stronger than them, but there's too many of them, we can't defeat them all at once. Not to mention, we can't use our full strength, otherwise, if anything goes wrong and one of us dies, humanity's strength as a whole will greatly decrease. It's very dangerous. That's also why we don't act rashly. Those were 100 Flowers Fairy's own words. At the time, Gu Qingshan had only just joined the sect, so he didn't think too much of it after hearing it. But now, deep inside the dark tunnel, he heard a different kind of doubt from a soul from another world. Gu Qingshan finally faced this question. Demons, there's something helping them, he muttered in a low voice. Chapter 446. In the dark tunnel, Gu Qingshan was stuck in a stalemate. For now, he decided not to think about the demon's secret anymore. Because he's about to face a huge problem. Deep inside the tunnel of Huang Quan, there's a terrifying demon lord. The demon lord guards the passage. No soul can pass through it to reach Huang Quan. After thinking about it, Gu Qingshan decided to take a risk. If he can't even reach Huang Quan, the only thing left for humanity is destruction. He searched on the rock wall and found a long bone that was pierced deeply into the crevice of the rock. Putting his hand on the bone, Gu Qingshan activated, Mystery of all beings equal. A few lines of glowing text quickly appeared in front of his eyes. Analyzing the sharp bone demon's body composition, pay 1,000 soul points. You'll understand this demon's body composition and temporarily become the same demon as the sharp bone demon. 1,000 soul points. Gu Qingshan clicked his tongue. Mystery of all beings equal uses too much soul points. At this time, a notification popped up on the War God UI. As there aren't many Ascended Realm late-stage demons left in the Dark Tunnel, please use your soul points wisely. Gu Qingshan understood right away. I'm running out of soul points to replenish. Normally, there's a dividing line between demon and human cultivators. That's Sainted Realm. Above Sainted Realm, because human cultivators have a grasp of the laws of the world, their thaumaturgy has also reached a certain level, allowing them to easily beat demons of the same rank. But below Sainted Realm, human cultivators of the same rank can't win against demons. A normal Ascended Realm late-stage cultivator can't win against the Dark Blood Demon Serpent. The Dark Blood Demon Serpent can resist normal elemental spells, its mouth contains spirit energy corroding venom, its body's strength is unparalleled, its speed even faster than an Ascended Realm late-stage martial cultivator. It can be considered a demon that's higher than Ascended Realm late-stage, infinitely close to Sainted Realm. Even two Ascended Realm late-stage cultivators together can't win against it, they can only run away. Because of that, the system recognized the Dark Blood Demon Serpent as an existence higher than normal Ascended Realm cultivators. According to the War God system's rules, the system left the soul points obtained from killing the Dark Blood Demon Serpent to Gu Qingshan. The reason why Gu Qingshan could kill them so easily was because he had the battle experience of 2 lifetimes. He had the fighting strength of a sword immortal, 2 legendary longswords, and a divine skill like ground shrink. Apart from that, he also had Smite, which increased his damage by 30%. With the system's monster detection, he could discover the Dark Blood Demon Jiao Dragon in advance. If it was anyone else, they wouldn't be able to meet so many conditions. But in the passage, the fierce demons like the Dark Blood Demon Serpent had already been killed off by him. Gu Qingshan hesitated for a moment before sighing. I have no choice but to use this amount of soul points. Turn off the detection function. I have some confidence in dealing with these demons. Understood, the system replied. Currently, Gu Qingshan's only way to get to the Yellow Springs through the Dark Den was to disguise herself as a demon. Gu Qingshan asked, "System, how long can my disguise last?" The system replied, "If you use spirit energy as a disguise, there is a time limit. But if you use soul points as a disguise, it will essentially change your body's composition. As long as you don't remove it, there is no time limit. Congratulations, the user, you were able to reach this level by using the correct power to practice this mystery. That's more like it." Gu Qingshan clenched his teeth and decided, "Fine, I'll pay the soul points." The user has chosen to pay the soul points. The user can begin to comprehend the sharp bone demon's body composition. The system will release soul points at an appropriate time for you to use. Very well, Gu Qingshan silently stood there. He looked at the bone in his hand and tried to sense it using mystery of all beings equal. Slowly, he found that he could completely understand the composition of this bone. He even knew how to use the power of the world origin to create the bone. This kind of understanding is something that only a god could do. Soul points, Gu Qingshan couldn't help but say, "I need soul points to create the laws and form my body." Saying so, 1,000 soul points were deducted from his soul points. Very quickly, Gu Qingshan felt a bit itchy. Itchy? Why would I feel itchy? As a soul, I shouldn't be able to feel this. Gu Qingshan looked down. A body made entirely of bones. Each of his 4 claws were gleaming sharp blades. This was his body. Unlike normal sharp bone demons, his body was much more slender and balanced. Gu Qingshan sensed himself. Other than spirit energy, a completely new power had manifested inside his body. He tried to channel that power and infused it into his sharp claws. His claws slid through the rock wall, giving off a sense of pleasure similar to cutting through tofu. 5 deep marks were carved into the rock wall. What a world mystery secret technique! It actually allowed me to disguise myself as a sharp-boned demon. Gu Qingshan muttered to himself. No, it's not a disguise, I'm a sharp-boned demon. Gu Qingshan tried to move his body. There were no obstacles. It was as if he naturally knew how to move a demon of this level. Gu Qingshan cautiously stood still and trained himself according to his memory of the sharp-boned demon's fighting style. After a while, he finally stopped to rest. He had basically grasped the sharp-boned demon's fighting style. Gu Qingshan didn't hesitate and quickly moved towards the bottom of the Huangquan passage. Miraculously, he naturally moved according to the sharp-boned demon's style. Using his sharp claws to pierce the rock wall, he used both his hands and feet to crawl deeper into the cave. Will this work? Will I really not be seen through? Gu Qingshan was a bit doubtful. The most important thing right now is to find a demon and see how it reacts to him. Unfortunately, he had already killed all the demons nearby, so for a long time, no other demons appeared. He could only continue to crawl deeper into the cave. He came to the place where he heard the cry for help last time. The monster finally showed up. It was a green 100-legged worm. This monster isn't particularly strong, but its sense of smell is extremely sharp, able to detect human corpses from afar. What it likes to eat the most are fleshy corpses. The 100-legged worm seemed to have sensed the aura of death that was produced when the man died. It sped up and climbed up the cave. Gu Qingshan stopped and used the sharp claws on his hands and feet to hold onto the rock wall. He stared at the 100-legged worm without moving. The 100-legged worm sensed his stare. It glanced at him. Gu Qingshan is currently disguised as a sharp-boned demon. His body is full of bones, and he's also a demon, so of course he wouldn't be on its menu. The 100-legged worm didn't mind and continued to climb upwards. A few moments later, the 100-legged worm and Gu Qingshan passed by. Nothing happened. It didn't attack Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan was stunned for a bit, then turned around to look at the 100-legged worm. The 100-legged worm was still sticking its head up, stretching its neck to climb upwards. From the direction it was heading towards where the person just died. Gu Qingshan tried his best to remain calm. How about? He turned around and opened his sharp claws. His claws cut through the 100-legged worm's body as easily as cutting through tofu. Caught off guard, the 100-legged worm was cut apart by the sharp-boned demon. It didn't even have the time to let out a scream before it died. Gu Qingshan stood in front of the 100-legged worm's body, staring at his own claws. I've turned into a demon, and fooled a demon's eyes. It was worth it to use soul points. Mystery of all beings equal, how unbelievable! Gu Qingshan's confidence was greatly boosted. He turned around and headed deeper into the Huangquan cave. On the way, there were countless monsters of all shapes and sizes. Gu Qingshan walked past the monsters one by one. None of the monsters paid attention to him. As Gu Qingshan squeezed his way through the crowd of demons, none of the stronger ones seemed to care about him. There was only one time when his claws accidentally touched a monster and left a deep gash on its body. The monster chased after him for a while before finally giving up. Gu Qingshan continued to head deeper into the dark cave. As he went deeper, the vertical path slowly turned into a slope. They walked for a while more. The slope turned into a flat road. Another line of glowing text appeared on the war god UI. Attention! A demon lord grade demon weapon has appeared ahead. Gu Qingshan's heart tightened. In truth, he could already feel it. The endless killing intent was becoming stronger and stronger, almost like a stream of water that filled the entire void of space. Fortunately, this kind of intent passed through his body and avoided him. As if the other party had recognized him as one of their own. Gu Qingshan held his breath and continued forward. Finally, in the dark abyss, he met the demon god head-on. It was a giant that was almost a kilometer tall. Everything below the giant's waist was already gone, only the upper half of his body was perfectly preserved. Dozens of strange arms that had been sewn together were hanging on the giant's body. Slender arms, muscular arms, arms made entirely of ice. Gu Qingshan could even see that one of the arms had ears all over it. Gu Qingshan believed that each and every one of these arms contained terrifying power of unparalleled might. The giant's eyes were closed, sleeping. Chapter 447. The demon lord was crouching right next to the wall, its gigantic body almost blocking the entire Huangquan passage. Its eyes were closed, sleeping. Gu Qingshan. No, a sharp-clawed demon was squeezing through the crowd of demons, slowly moving towards the demon lord. Next to the demon lord's body, there was only a small gap, enough for a few demons of average size to pass through. The sharp-clawed demon silently stared at the demon lord. Following its stare, a notification appeared on the war god UI. A weapon-type demon lord is a unique existence. If the user wants to know more about this demon lord, they will need to pay an additional 500 soul points. No need, I know what this is, Gu Qingshan silently said. His emotions were a bit complicated. A weapon-type demon lord isn't a true demon. They are powerful existences that fell in the river of time due to various reasons. Some of the corpses were strange creatures from different worlds. These creatures once ruled over an entire world. They were once the rulers of certain worlds. Once those worlds were completely taken over by demons, then as their strongest enemies, the corpses of these creatures would be used to their advantage. Their corpses would be excavated, salvaged, modified using demon methods. After countless years of production, they would finally become the ultimate weapon of unparalleled power. The giant in front of him was one such example. It most likely used to be the ruler of a certain world, but after an intense war, only the upper half of its body remained. Taking a closer look, it was very obvious that only 2 of its arms belonged to itself. The other arms were sewn back on afterwards. Through some sort of miraculous method, these powerful arms were able to retain their original strength. This was the modified demon lord that the demons used to attack cities. But this wasn't the only type of demon lord. Above the modified demon lord, there were also chaotic demon lords. They were existences that were completely outside the realm of human thought. You wouldn't even know what they originally were. They had all sorts of unpredictable powers that could make you unknowingly be devoured, killed, enslaved, or dissipated. But chaotic demon lords weren't the strongest. True demon lord, a name that could make people despair. They were demons made from the corpses of divinities. These demon lord weapons had the power of a divinity when they were alive, as well as the destructive power of the demons, unparalleled. The true devils used the corpses of these gods to conquer the world for themselves. In his previous life, there was an unverified report in the human military intelligence. The elite human troops who provided this report were completely annihilated. Before they died, they sent back this information that could not be verified. There were only 2 sentences in the report. Firstly, the extinction of mankind was unstoppable. The second sentence stated that there were even more terrifying existences above the true type demon god. When they received the report, the war between humans and demons was at a critical moment. In order to avoid damaging the morale of the army, the human commanders, including Gu Qingshan, unanimously decided to keep the report top secret. As Gu Qingshan recalled the past, she stood silently in the middle of the demon horde. What exactly happened in Huangquan that the demons would send such a powerful modified demon god to guard and block the way here? Gu Qingshan shook her head and looked at the giant demon god. There was no way to guess or know anything. The truth was behind the demon god. Only by entering the Yellow Springs would he know everything. Gu Qingshan started to move. He was about to find out the truth. His sharp claws pierced into the cracks of the rock as he moved down step by step. Gu Qingshan was moving very slowly. Not too fast, not too slow, not too loud, not too obvious. He retracted his inner sight, lowered his head and carefully maintained his state of movement, not revealing anything out of the ordinary. Closer. Even closer. He stood in front of the demon god. The demon god was still sleeping. But the aura of destruction coming from the demon god's body made Gu Qingshan's body tremble uncontrollably. The difference between them was too great. With just aura alone, the demon god was able to completely suppress Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan could only grit his teeth and force himself to move forward. He used his sharp claws to stabilize his body, slowly crawling towards the demon god's side. He had to go through the narrow passage to reach the deepest part of the cave. The dark passage was silent. Most of the demons were either sleeping or resting. Only a slender demon with sharp claws was slowly moving forward. A few moments later, Gu Qingshan had already moved to the demon god's side. As long as he maintained this speed, he would be able to get past the demon god in a few more minutes. Gu Qingshan patiently reached his claws out, grabbed the wall, and moved forward. Without any warning, the sleeping demon god raised one of his hands and grabbed at the group of demons next to him. The place he grabbed was where Gu Qingshan was. Gu Qingshan didn't know why this happened, but he could swear that the demon god didn't notice him. This slumbering demon god might have sensed something. That arm of his had acted on its own accord. The demons couldn't even react to the demon god's action. A large number of demons were caught. Gu Qingshan was also caught. He and almost 100 demons were being held tightly by the demon god's hand. Some of the demons seemed to know what was about to happen as they struggled and screamed in despair. Hearing these screams, the demon god still didn't open his eyes. He opened his mouth wide, sending the demons in his hand into his mouth. Gu Qingshan desperately squeezed through the other demons and looked down through the gap in the giant hand. Down below, the other demons had already reacted and started fleeing in all directions. Gu Qingshan suddenly saw a one-eyed demon serpent. This one-eyed demon serpent was running away as fast as it could. Right now, it was right next to the demon god, about to go past him and enter the depths of the dark tunnel. "It's you!" Gu Qingshan activated Shadow Shift without hesitation. In the blink of an eye, the one-eyed demon serpent appeared in the demon god's hand. Gu Qingshan had already escaped, standing next to the demon god. At this moment, A strong sense of danger was still lingering in his mind. He even felt a chill down his spine. Shadow shift shouldn't be a problem. But among the dozens of demons in the demon god's hand, one of the sharp-clawed demons had been replaced by a one-eyed demon serpent. Gu Qingshan wasn't sure whether or not the demon god's hand would notice the slight change in the palm of his hand. At this moment, he didn't want to gamble on his luck, nor did he want to wait for the result. His ascended realm late-stage inner sight spread outwards, all the way to the outside of the dark tunnel. The entire tunnel was clearly visible to Gu Qingshan's inner sight. He didn't care if it was reckless or not, so he disappeared. Ground Shrink. Divine Skill, Ground Shrink, advanced randomly select a location, or by locking onto an enemy's presence, use a unique movement technique to break through the limits of space and directly appear at the corresponding location in the blink of an eye. He had already traveled 1,000 miles. Gu Qingshan appeared. As a sharp-clawed demon, his entire body was trembling. Chapter 448. Gu Qingshan appeared next to a pile of rocks. Using the divine skill Ground Shrink, he instantly traveled a great distance. From the darkness behind him, an invisible presence approached. This was the unique presence of a demon lord. Looking down on all living beings. Killing for pleasure. Sensing this presence, Gu Qingshan didn't run away right away. His claws dug deep into the rock wall. He knelt on one knee, breathing heavily. This was the presence of his past life. A memory that can't be erased. The scenes from the past flooded back to him like a tidal wave, but Gu Qingshan didn't want to stop himself from remembering them. Someone reported with a sobbing tone. General Gu, the vanguard ran into a demon lord. They couldn't react in time and were all killed. How many people died? 300,000. 300,000. General Gu. See, Gu Qingshan took a deep breath, feeling a bit of pain in his chest. The cold air from the ground was sucked into his body, barely allowing him to calm down. Following his inner sight, Gu Qingshan disappeared again. The second time, Ground Shrink. Suddenly, Gu Qingshan appeared in the middle of the demon horde. There were still a lot of demons here, and most of them were on high alert. They formed layers upon layers of defense. After all, Huang Quan was right behind them. This was the last part of the journey. The demons didn't allow any souls to enter Huang Quan. Gu Qingshan stumbled. Die. He swung his claws, almost out of control. Blood splattered everywhere. The demons screamed in pain. Gu Qingshan disappeared. He reappeared in another demon camp a few hundred miles away. He was flying forward without a care for anything else. Some of the demons looked up, looking at him in surprise. But that was it. No demons attacked him first. After running for a while, Gu Qingshan suddenly tripped and rolled on the ground. The demon lord's presence followed him like a shadow. As if Gu Qingshan was stimulated, the scenes that were sealed deep within his memories suddenly resurfaced. A mountain. The mountain was filled with human corpses. A huge, sinister face peered over from the other side of the mountain and stared at the human camp. Mr. Gu, go. You guys leave. I'm a sword cultivator. I can stall it for a while. Without any explanation, the group of people swarmed over to grab him and drag him back. More armored soldiers stood in front of him as they advanced towards the demon god. Sir, you can't die. We'll stop it. Listen to my command. First team, go. Second team, follow. Charge everyone. Let's fight. The ferocious face that was as large as a mountain slowly opened its mouth. Countless screams of human beings rang out. The frigid aura from the cave woke Gu Qingshan up. His trembling body stopped. He suddenly shouted. No. The surrounding demons could only hear a sharp whimper from the sharp-clawed demon. Then, the sharp-clawed monster stood up shakily. Just as the demons thought it was strange, they suddenly felt a sharp pain. Their heads were separated from their bodies, and they lay dead on the ground. The sharp-clawed demon disappeared in front of all the demons. A few hundred miles away, it reappeared. The dark cave had turned into a flat path. The cold air coming from it was enough to freeze a person. The Earth Sword suddenly spoke up with a hurried tone. "If I can sense an intense surge of demonic and divine power erupting, you have to run away quickly." Roar. Behind him, a deafening roar resounded from the dark tunnel. An intense gust of wind swept through the entire cave. The worst-case scenario had occurred. That slight sense of abnormality caused the demon god to wake up. Gu Qingshan's heart sank. It's impossible to go back the way we came. The only way to survive is Huang Quan. Run. Run as fast as you can. Gu Qingshan was screaming in his mind, but he didn't move. The demon god's presence became even stronger. The feeling of despair from his past life surrounded him, opening the door to his memories. A voice came from the depths of his memories. "What? A person like you can become a commander of the human race?" A cute female voice came. "Ah? You've found the strongest liquor? What a silly brat. Fine, this empress will reluctantly go on a date with you." The flame flew away, then suddenly reappeared. The girl's voice came from the communication talisman again. "I'm at Camp 571, a bit far from you, but if you're willing, come find me." "Ah, right, brat. Don't forget to bring liquor. We're going to have a good drink." In the blink of an eye, dirt was blown all over the place. Boom. Screams of pain. Someone angrily shouted, "Gu Qingshan, you can't go, that place was just discovered by the demon god." He turned around and left. Someone chased after him from the camp, loudly shouting, "General Gu, hurry back, that place is definitely done for." He was running as fast as he could. He had never run as fast as he did in his entire life. Running. Finally, he stood on top of a tree, looking at the world-ending flames of Camp 571. The light from the flames illuminated his eyes. The flames went out. Everything went out. Intense pain. "Wake up, Gu Qingshan." The Earth Sword jumped out from the void of space and patted his shoulder. Gu Qingshan woke up. He never knew that the Earth Sword's voice could become so urgent so fast. "Hurry and run, Gu Qingshan, the demon god is heading this way." The Chao Yin sword hovered next to the Earth Sword. It was also anxiously letting out a woo-woo sound. "Right, I need to run now. I need to run." Gu Qingshan clenched his teeth. He abruptly flew forward a few feet. "Not good, I can't run like this." He gave up on flying and used ground shrink again. Compared to a shadow shift, a ground shrink didn't cost too much spirit energy. Fortunately, he was currently in the body of a demon, so he wasn't afraid of being surrounded by a horde of demons after teleporting. He appeared in the middle of the horde of demons, then disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already very far away, arriving at another camp guarded by demons. Gu Qingshan seemed to have noticed something. He used ground shrink without any regard for spirit energy to quickly travel a large distance. After a while, Gu Qingshan stopped. A mass of darkness was approaching him from behind, finally enveloping him. It was a giant arm covered in black hair. The arm suddenly reached out to grab Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan instantly disappeared. But right in front of him, another giant hand of black fog was waiting for him. The hand of black fog quickly covered the entire passage, grabbing at Gu Qingshan. "He's a demon god, quickly use me to face him," the Earth Sword hurriedly said. "I know," Gu Qingshan replied. Gu Qingshan wielded the Earth Sword tightly and slashed at the hand of black fog with all his might. Secret art, a torrent. This was a powerful secret art. The vast sword phantoms rushed forward like a torrent, striking the hand of black fog, but only managed to leave a gap about half the width of a person. Gu Qingshan squeezed through the gap and followed the sword phantoms forward. Roar! A furious roar of unwillingness resounded from the back of the cave. They were too far away. The demon god couldn't exert its full strength. Gu Qingshan rushed out of the black fog, not even looking back, and activated ground shrink again. In the blink of an eye, he had traveled several hundred miles. In front of him, a ball of dim yellow light appeared in the endless darkness. It was the exit of the cave. It was reflecting the faint light of Huang Quan. Gu Qingshan's figure disappeared and reappeared at the exit in the blink of an eye. He went through the exit without hesitation. The light expanded. Ho ho ho! An intense gust of wind blew, almost blowing Gu Qingshan away. Around him was a boundless sea of clouds. Gu Qingshan found himself high in the sky, constantly falling down. Looking down, all he could see was a vast river that stretched as far as the eye could see. The river water was dim, the water flowed faster and faster. Clouds of mist rose from the surface of the river, drifting and forming dark clouds. Gu Qingshan's figure moved, not stopping in the air, but instead sped up, descending like a meteor. He dispelled all beings equal and returned to his original appearance. Since there were no demons around, he didn't need to pretend to be one anymore. If he was discovered by Huang Quan's forces, he might accidentally get hurt. His flying speed increased. With the demon god chasing after him, he couldn't waste even a second. The Chao Yin sword flew out, buzzing at Gu Qingshan. It seemed to be trying to explain something. I know that's the legendary Forgetting River, you definitely can't touch it. Gu Qingshan replied. The Forgetting River, in the legends, is a river that no living being can touch. Aside from the dead of hell, any other living being that enters the Forgetting River will forget their past, their soul will be sent to hell or reincarnation. This is a river that belongs to the dead. This is the most powerful law of Huang Quan. The Chao Yin sword once again let out a buzzing sound. A drop of water that gave off a faint yellow aura appeared from the blade. Forgetting River water. A drop of Forgetting River water that the black-cloaked skeleton went through countless trials and tribulations, spending thousands of years to obtain. A line of glowing text appeared on the war god UI. The Chao Yin sword requests your permission to refine this precious drop of Forgetting River water. In order to gain the Forgetting River's recognition, the Chao Yin sword requests your permission to use 1,000 soul points to help it refine the Forgetting River water. Gu Qingshan replied without hesitation. Allow it. In a split second, the faint yellow water droplet scattered, turning into a mist that drifted around the Chao Yin sword. Ting! Refinement complete, the Chao Yin sword can use, even a sea of bitterness will pass. On the Forgetting River. That's great. Even a demon god wouldn't dare to enter the Forgetting River. As long as I hide inside the Forgetting River, I'll be able to escape. Gu Qingshan took the two swords, flew through the howling wind, through the clouds, heading towards the Forgetting River. At a certain point, the presence of a demon god came from behind. An aura full of killing intent, one that could destroy everything. In that split second, an uncontrollable thought appeared in Gu Qingshan's mind. Run? I'm running? Gu Qingshan looked around. In the sky. Sword. Large river. Intense wind. This scene is so familiar. The deepest scene in her memory appeared. The camp. The sound of armors hitting the ground was like a thunderstorm hitting the ground, one after another. Tens of thousands of soldiers knelt down. Mr. Gu, I am willing to die together, die together. I am willing to use my blood to die together with you, sir. Voices came one after another, becoming louder and louder. Countless impassioned voices turned into light and infused into the sword array. Facing the wind, he flew to the sky. And then, the Chao Yin sword let out an intense vibrating noise. Gu Qingshan regained his senses. He looked up. 7 to 8 giant arms appeared out of nowhere in the sky. These arms were either long or short, some were exuding cold air, some were emitting green poisonous fog. They were all trying to grab Gu Qingshan. Chao Yin sword! Gu Qingshan loudly shouted. He suddenly flashed, crossing a large distance. When he reappeared, Gu Qingshan was only a few hundred meters away from the river. The Chao Yin sword vibrated. A faint yellow light that looked like a burning flame appeared from the blade of the sword. Gu Shan held the Chao Yin sword in his hand and pointed at the vast river. The forgetting river parted, leaving a path for him to enter the bottom of the river. The forgetting river accepted him. Now, as long as Gu Shan enters the river, he'll be safe. Without stopping, Gu Shan quickly flew down towards the forgetting river. 500 meters. 200 meters. 30 meters. I'm here. Gu Shan arrived at the surface of the forgetting river and stopped. What's the matter? Quickly hide inside, the earth sword spoke. Gu Shan silently stood still. The river wind blew his hair away, making his clothes flutter. He still didn't move. A demon lord's arm followed. The giant hand opened, grabbing towards Gu Shan. Gu Shan disappeared and reappeared above the hand, swinging the earth sword down. Arg! He angrily roared and slammed the demon lord's arm into the forgetting river. The arm was hit, but it was fine. But as soon as it touched the forgetting river water, it began to struggle in fear. It was useless. This was the forgetting river. The laws of Huang Quan were condensed here. The demon lord's arm only moved a bit before losing all signs of life. It slowly sank to the bottom of the forgetting river. Seeing this, Gu Shan lightly nodded. The forgetting river can't be touched, otherwise even a demon lord would be at a disadvantage. As if noticing this, all the demon lord's arms in the sky disappeared. High up in the sky, the giant's face peeked out from the cave, angrily looking around. He looked at the faint yellow water of the forgetting river below. The forgetting river's water surged, like an arrow leaving its bow, like a horse escaping its reins, flowing endlessly. That ant-like human stood on the forgetting river's surface without a single trace of fear on his face. The giant roared in anger. I let an ant-like soul pass through the dark cave. Even if I'm asleep, I wouldn't make such a mistake. That puny human even crippled one of my arms. You're just a lowly soul. How did you manage to get past me? The giant couldn't understand. He decided not to think about it anymore. After all, after capturing the other party, he'll be able to obtain their memories by chewing on their soul. As long as he can obtain their memories, the giant will be able to understand everything. With that in mind, the giant swooped down. Dozens of arms with different functions flew out from his body, circling around the giant. The giant's speed wasn't much slower than Gu Shan's ground shrink. He charged at the human with everything he had. Gu Shan looked up as the demon lord approached. He didn't move. It wasn't until the demon lord entered the range of his inner sight that he swung the Chao Yin sword. The torrential river water parted. Gu Shan landed. The flowing river water made way for him, ensuring that there wasn't a single drop of water around him. No, lowly human soul, I want your memories! The giant roared. Gu Shan sank into the river. Kept sinking. At a certain point, Gu Shan suddenly appeared in the air. The giant, with all its arms, appeared in a strange space. There wasn't a single drop of water in this space. All of the forgetting river's water was avoiding this place. The dim yellow flowing water reflected a dancing light on the giant's body. This only lasted for a split second. Even the sea of suffering can be crossed, but not the demon lord. The forgetting river closed up. A huge whirlpool suddenly appeared on the surface of the flowing river. The demon lord struggled inside. But it was useless. This was the greatest law of Huang Quan. This was the water of reincarnation that forgets everything and separates life and death. In just 2 breaths worth of time, the demon lord stopped struggling. Gu Shan hovered above the river, silently watching this. A few moments later, the demon lord's body floated up. Gu Shan looked at the demon lord's body and stayed silent for a while. At a certain point, he muttered, "My memories are my most precious possession, I can't give them to you." He took out a bottle of fine liquor from his inventory bag. As he opened the bottle, the fragrance of alcohol filled the air. Gu Shan let go. A bottle of wine fell into the forgetting river, bobbing up and down next to the demon lord's body. A toast to all of you. Gu Qingshan looked up, paused for a while, waiting for the wind to dry the moisture on his face. Don't worry everyone, I'll protect you in this life. Chapter 449. Gu Qingshan stood still on the surface of the river for a while. It wasn't until the demon lord's corpse floated down the river that he pulled back his gaze. Silence, only the sound of the river breeze could be heard. Gu Qingshan looked up. The forgetting river was vast, occasionally shrouded in mist, making it impossible to see the end of the river. The only thing he could see was Shui Yuntian. Gu Qingshan was silently surprised. According to legends, this Huangquan River was supposed to be filled with dead people. Everyone who died used this river to travel to either hell or reincarnation. There should be a ferryman on the Forgetting River. Of course, that was the cultivation world's Forgetting River, with a skeleton woman as the ferryman. As for reality, according to the machines of Huangquan, it might even be a fairy. Gu Qingshan waited for a bit longer. He still couldn't see anything. Strange, all living beings come here after death. Even if the passage is blocked, there should still be some sort of divinity here. Why was the yellow spring so empty? Gu Qingshan couldn't help but ask. System, why can't I see a single living thing? Ting. The system replied. Because Huangquan is filled with dead people. Gu Qingshan replied. I know, what I mean is, why can't I see the manager or guardian of Huangquan? The system doesn't know what happened in Huangquan. Please explore the world of Huangquan by yourself. Gu Qingshan could only give up on asking. If that's the case, I'll just act quickly. Lines of glowing text started to appear on the war god UI. Attention please, you've schemed to kill a remodeled demon lord. This is unprecedented in the Six Worlds history. This historic moment will be known by many struggling worlds through various special methods. Because the demon lord was killed by the Forgetting River, you cannot obtain soul points. You've triggered a special war god title quest. User, please continue to work hard and kill another demon lord to obtain the corresponding war god title. Reading through it, Gu Qingshan couldn't help but shake his head. This is a bit similar to when I first obtained the Hitman title. The title of War God was a good thing, but the inconvenient thing was that the system didn't even tell him what the title was. Gu Qingshan tried asking, but the system didn't reply at all. At this time, another line of glowing text appeared on the War God UI. Your actions have attracted the attention of certain existences within the Yellow Springs. Please treat this attention seriously, because it will determine your treatment in Huangquan. At this moment, Gu Qingshan seemed to have sensed something and craned her neck to take a look. A row of glowing numbers floated above his head. 0000, Gu Qingshan asked curiously, "What is this?" A voice replied, "Hello, I'm sorry to bother you, but since you've entered Huangquan, you must be included in my statistics. Who are you?" "I'm a merit calculator. Every dead person that enters Huangquan has to be bound to me, so that I can easily check how much merit they have. When one's merit is negative, the deceased must continue to suffer in hell. When their merit reaches 0 or a positive number, they will be able to leave hell and reincarnate." Gu Qingshan nodded and pointed above her head. "Then why am I 0000? Because you're a living person, only when you're dead can I calculate your merit. This is called sealing the coffin. That's a bit too obvious, can you not display it?" Gu Qingshan asked. "Of course I can," the merit calculator replied. Immediately, the number above Gu Qingshan's head disappeared. "Why didn't you go to the human realm?" Gu Qingshan asked. The merit calculator answered. "My display function only works in hell. Why would I go to the human realm?" Gu Qingshan thought that was true, so she said, "I want to ask you something. I'm sorry, I can't tell you anything unrelated to merit. Just a small matter." The other party didn't answer. Gu Qingshan asked a few more questions. The merit calculator remained silent. Gu Qingshan begrudgingly gave up. He glanced around. Let's start searching first and find out the truth of Huang Quan as soon as possible. With that in mind, Gu Qingshan swung the Chao Yin sword to split the river. There's nothing on the surface, so I might as well go to the bottom. He leapt down towards the bottom of the forgetting river. The river avoided him and silently flowed around him. Occasionally, some strange things would be carried away by the river. Gu Qingshan landed at the bottom of the river. Underneath his feet was a thick layer of gray-white rock. Gu Qingshan tried swinging the earth sword and lightly slashed it. Sparks flew. But the rock on the ground was untouched. The earth sword's 86,370,000 tons of weight was enough to deal with even divinities and demons, but it couldn't cut through the bottom of the forgetting river. Both the forgetting river and these rocks are manifestations of the laws of Huang Quan, so I can't cut through them, the earth sword explained with its booming voice. It's fine, I'm just curious, Gu Qingshan replied. He sighed in relief. I've finally arrived at the world of Huang Quan. He looked at the soul points that were being drained from the war god Yui. Using even a sea of bitterness requires soul points. Fortunately, after the Chao Yin sword refined that drop of forgetting river water, this consumption rate was very low, and very slow. These 1,000 soul points were well spent. I only have a bit more than 1,000 soul points left. Gu Qingshan randomly chose a direction and prepared to move. He decided to try walking a bit further at the bottom of the river, wait until he's far enough from the dark tunnel before leaving the forgetting river to check out the situation. Suddenly, a female voice came from behind him. Please wait a minute, Gu Qingshan froze. This voice wasn't the merit accountant machine from before. He slowly turned around, only to find nothing. In the river, various inexplicable things would occasionally be carried away by the undercurrent. But Gu Qingshan didn't see anything near him. As soon as he fell into the river, he released his inner sight to check his surroundings. Even now, his inner sight is still constantly covering a radius of several hundred miles. Perhaps some powerful cultivators find it too tiring and troublesome to constantly use their inner sight to check their surroundings, but Gu Qingshan definitely wouldn't make such a low-level mistake. His inner sight scanned around 3 times. He still couldn't find anything. This made Gu Qingshan serious. Gu Qingshan clasped his fist and bowed, asking, "Sir, can you show yourself? Since you were able to take on a demon lord by yourself, of course I want to meet you. Please wait a moment." This female voice sounded exceptionally cold, with a hint of vigilance and killing intent. Gu Qingshan sharply sensed this killing intent. He suddenly had a thought. "What number machine are you?" he asked. "Ah? You know about Huang Quan's machines?" The female voice was surprised. "Of course, I've already met with the prayers trial machine, which means you're their customer?" "No, we're friends, is that so, but I can't trust you so easily, after all, even the demon lord couldn't catch you just now, there must be something special about you." The female voice was still cautious. Gu Qingshan calmed down a bit. "This is probably one of the 88 machines. It's able to hide at the bottom of the forgetting river. What a unique ability." A flash of inspiration appeared in Gu Qingshan's mind. That's right, no matter what happened in Huang Quan, if I can bring a powerful machine back, the human realm might gain a bit more power. Thinking that, Gu Qingshan very seriously spoke. "I really am your friend. I know that you have 88 machines. This number is because of a superstitious divinity that thinks this number is good," the female voice hesitantly asked. "You know that? Then, do you know what happened to that divinity?" Gu Qingshan recalled the prayers trial machine's words and replied. "He was the first to die. What else do you know?" "The prayers trial machine requires blood to operate, right? There's a machine that likes to prank people, called the anger calming machine. It's the husband of the prayers trial machine." The female voice calmed down and muttered. "You even know about such a secret between machines, and you're a human soul. Seems like you're not an enemy." That lingering murderous intent disappeared. Rumble, rumble. The ground shook. Gu Qingshan anxiously waited. The sturdy gray-white rocks began to split apart. These rocks that even the earth sword couldn't cut were quickly split apart. A blue cluster of light rose up from the ground, carrying a bit of cold air. The cluster of light slowly dissipated to reveal an ancient lady. She wore a blue dress, her posture was light, her lips were bright red, her eyes were like a phoenix, but her expression carried a faint sense of coldness. Chapter 450. The Dark Tunnel. The frigid wind howled endlessly like cries. A sorrowful voice resounded. How pitiful! I can't even bear to watch where the demon lord originally stood. All the demons were prostrating themselves on the ground, trembling. It was as if they were enduring some sort of indescribable torture, but someone had covered their mouths, preventing them from making a sound. The sorrowful voice resounded again. But you can't blame anyone else, it's your fault for being so weak that you can't even block a hole. It let out a faint sigh. Die, all of you! Following this voice, the entire area fell silent. The demons stopped trembling. Their corpses slowly melted. After a while, another voice resounded. What do we do now? We also lost a remodeled demon lord, the voice from before replied. Did you manage to find that soul? There's no way to find it. I think he's inside the Forgetting River. The Forgetting River is blocking all information, almost deceiving a demon lord, and being protected by the Forgetting River. Such a human must die, but the Forgetting River is blocking all information. What do we do now? Come, let's take a look at the connection between Huang Quan and the human realm. The two voices disappeared. A few moments later, at the connection between the dark tunnel and the space vortex, two black shadows hovered in the air. From one of the shadows, a hand reached out of the tunnel and touched the void of space. Boom! The fierce flames burned the hand into ashes. Seems like we still need a bit more time. The human realm's protective barrier still hasn't broken, and we're too strong, the voice spoke regretfully. If that's the case, it's time for the Hells to do something right. Have them find that person's body in the human realm, then destroy it. As long as the body is destroyed, there's no need to worry about where the soul is hiding in the Forgetting River. He'll die right away. Following the casual conversation between the two voices, an intense gust of wind flew out of the dark tunnel, followed the space vortex and headed towards the human realm. Soon, the four Hells that descended on the human realm would receive the news. In the dark tunnel, the voice sighed. Wasting so much time for an ant, it really isn't worth it. As if something had happened, they went silent for a bit before becoming a bit excited. Can you feel it? Indeed, a world is about to become our fruit. Go! The matters of this world have been arranged properly. It's time to harvest the more important world. That's what we should be worried about. Yes. The two shadows disappeared. They left. The other side, Huang Quan. At the bottom of the Forgetting River, the green-robed maid asked, "May I ask who you are?" This time, it was a formal inquiry. The Earth Sword silently sent its voice. She carries the power of the law of Huang Quan. Gu Qing Shan nodded. It wasn't just the Yellow Springs laws. The azure-robed lady was surrounded by a blue watery light. While Gu Qing Shan was staring at the blue light, a line of glowing text appeared on the war god UI. Discovered Huang Quan origin. Origin water. As it turns out, this mass of blue water was actually the Huang Quan world's origin water. Possessing the law of Huang Quan and being surrounded by the water of origin, this woman's status could only be described as extremely noble. Gu Qing Shan became even more solemn. He clasped his fist and bowed, then spoke. This humble one is Gu Qing Shan, a human cultivator. Because hell appeared in the human realm, I used the soul detachment secret technique to come to Huang Quan to investigate. The azure-robed girl was a bit surprised. Is he really a living person? Since when did the human realm have such an ability to detach their soul and travel to Huang Quan? She stared at him and suddenly called out, "Merit Accountant Machine," a voice answered. "I'm here. I'm here. Please tell me what you want." The voice sounded a bit flattering. Gu Qingshan was a bit annoyed. The other party ignored everything I asked, but the azure-robed girl only needed to call out once and he immediately appeared. Is he a living person? The azure-robed girl asked. Yes, according to the laws, he is indeed a living person, so his merit is at 0000. The merit accountant machine replied. The azure-robed girl nodded, now completely convinced. If he's a human from the human realm, then everything makes sense. The azure-robed girl slightly curtsied and said, In Huangquan, everyone calls me Shanu, you can call me that as well. Very well. Gu Qingshan clasped her fist and bowed back. The human realm already has 4 hells? The azure-robed girl sighed. That's right, we're running out of ideas. Gu Qingshan then explained the situation in the human realm, even telling her why she came here. Hearing that, the azure-robed girl's attitude became a bit warmer. She then changed the way she addressed him. Gongzi, how are the prayers trial machine and the others? Gu Qingshan replied. Although they don't have the ability to save the human realm, I can feel that they're very happy to be here. The azure-robed girl's cold expression faded a bit and said, That's good. She went silent for a bit, then continued. Unfortunately, I'm still recuperating, so I won't be able to help you right now. Gu Qingshan looked back, only to see the blue origin embracing the azure-robed girl, occasionally seeping into her body. Her body was somewhat illusory and transparent, like an unstable projection. After a bit of hesitation, the azure-robed girl suddenly opened her hand. In her hand, there was a misty green aura condensing into a ball. Take this, at least the remaining forces of Huangquan are willing to give me face. They won't trouble you, ah? Then I thank you. The blue aura went into Gu Qingshan's hand and disappeared without a trace. Gu Qingshan carefully sensed it and found that her aura now contained a bit of coldness. This coldness doesn't contain any power, it's only a change in aura, and it only affects aura. And I can force this aura out of my body at any time. Gu Qingshan was relieved. The azure-robed girl nodded to Gu Qingshan and said, With my aura, the remaining weapons will help you. Weapons? Gu Qingshan didn't have time to ask and clasped her fist first. Thank you, Go. If I can fully recuperate, I'll also return to the battlefield, the girl said. Gu Qingshan thought for a bit, tapped her inventory bag, took out a bottle of top-grade healing pills, and was about to give it to her. This is good stuff, but I can't use it. The azure-robed girl waved her hand dismissively. Seeing that she was willing to help, she hesitated for a bit before asking, Do you have burnt mountain spirit jade, sunken ice soil, or 10,000-year-old red spirit rock? Gu Qingshan's eyebrows twitched. Burnt mountain spirit jade must be found in a mountain range that contains a large amount of fire spirit stone, as well as an abundance of earth spirit chi. After thousands of years of no one mining it, the fire spirit stones and earth spirit chi would fuse together to occasionally produce 1 or 2 pieces of burnt mountain spirit jade. Sunken ice soil is an extremely rare ice spirit ground. It's a special kind of soil that can be used to support the growth of ice-type treasures. Red spirit rock is rare to begin with, so it's even harder for it to go through 10,000 years of change and precipitation. These are all rare treasures. Gu Qingshan thought about it and didn't answer. The azure-robed girl was also a bit embarrassed and said, Huangquan is in danger. I need these things if I want to heal as soon as possible, so I can only beg you. If you don't have them, then it's fine. Gu Qingshan put the highest-grade healing pills into his inventory bag, then took out the 7-colored fragrance bag. He quickly took out the burnt mountain spirit jade, sunken ice soil, and 10,000-year-old red spirit rock. 10,000-year-old red spirit rock is extremely rare, even by Hua sect only has one. These are the sect's most precious treasures. Take them, Gu Qingshan said. Seeing how generous he was, the azure-robed girl was also moved. She looked at Gu Qingshan deeply and said, Thank you, I will now go into seclusion to heal my wounds. I look forward to meeting Gongzi again on the battlefield. The two of them clasped their hands. As Gu Qingshan was about to ask about Huang Quan's situation, the azure-robed girl turned into a mass of light and sank into the ground. Gu Qingshan was stunned. Going into seclusion already? That's a bit too rushed. As the ground closed up, the azure-robed girl seemed to have gone away. Even the earth sword couldn't cut through this bluish-white rock. But the other party went inside and left in the blink of an eye. Gu Qingshan was stunned for a bit, but had no choice but to take the two swords and leave. He walked for a bit at the bottom of the river. The earth sword suddenly spoke up. It doubtfully asked, "Such a precious thing, you gave it away just like that?" The Chao Yin sword followed the earth sword, and also let out a doubtful woo-woo sound. Gu Qingshan replied, "If she had the presence of the law of Huang Quan on her, then she must be someone from Huang Quan. And from the killing intent she exuded, it's as if she had just returned from the battlefield. I can't be wrong about that. If she recovers quickly, she might become a powerful ally." Gu Qingshan couldn't say anything else. "This is the first time we've met. Even if she's one of us, there's no need to treat that girl so well. None of this is a reason for me to give her a precious treasure." He suddenly stopped. "This really is a problem. Why am I acting like this?" Gu Qingshan crossed her arms, troubled. "I also feel like something's wrong. I'm not a pervert. Why couldn't I help but help her?" He carefully thought about it. "And you gave her everything you had. That's why you like her?" the earth sword asked. The Chao Yin sword let out a woo-woo sound in agreement. Gu Qingshan slowly spoke. "I don't really like her, not to mention, why would I like someone the moment I see them?" He asked himself. "But why would I do that? No matter how outstanding a girl is, I wouldn't do that," the earth sword spoke in a low voice. "I'm very sure that you weren't under any sort of seduction techniques, so, in your human language, this is called love at first sight?" "No, it's just a matter of having sex," Gu Qingshan hurriedly denied it. "That's not it. I really don't have any romantic thoughts," he then asked. "You sense the law of Huang Quan on her body. Do you know what she is?" "I'm not sure. The forgetting river water around me is interfering too much. I can only tell that she isn't a demonic deity," the earth sword answered. Gu Qingshan closed her eyes and silently thought for a bit. He suddenly said, "It's not the feeling between a man and a woman, it's something else. Then what is it?" the earth sword asked. "I can't remember what it is right now, but it's a feeling that I've had for a very long time. That's why I helped her without hesitation, without even thinking about it. If you think about it from this perspective, the things she wants are also a bit strange," the earth sword commented. "That's right, these three treasures aren't normally used for healing. Perhaps she has other uses," Gu Qingshan also said. He continued, "But these three precious treasures have too many uses. I don't know how she would use them." One man and two swords were flying at the bottom of the river while analyzing what just happened, slowly moving forward. Suddenly, a few lines of glowing text appeared on the war god UI. "The hell that descended upon the human realm has been informed of your actions. They have begun to search for your body. You must find a solution to all your problems before they discover your physical body. When necessary, you must return to your body, otherwise, if your body is destroyed by them, you will truly die." Gu Qingshan felt tense. "We need to hurry up." Chapter 451. Gu Qingshan hid at the bottom of the forgetting river, using all his strength to travel for an hour. For an hour, he didn't see anything in the river. At some point, he couldn't hold himself back anymore. Gu Qingshan flew out from the forgetting river, silently hovering above the river. This place was very far from the dark tunnel. The surface of the river of forgetfulness was a dusky yellow, and even the sky was reflected in the dusky light. Standing on top of the river, looking around, there was only a single direction where he could see a tall mountain. This was a mountain that connected the sky and the earth. When Gu Qingshan looked in this direction, this mountain took up his entire field of vision. The mountain was like a giant wall that blocked out the sun. Seems like it's this way, Gu Qingshan said. Sticking close to the river, he flew towards the grand mountain range. Indeed, a mountain that looks like it can run a horse to death. Gu Qingshan had to fly for almost 2 hours before he reached the foot of the mountain. All of a sudden, Gu Qingshan's expression changed. 2 lines of glowing text appeared on the war god UI. You've arrived at the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. The Grand Tai Wei Mountain is hell, created by the laws of Huang Quan and hell. This mountain protects the 6 worlds of the samsara. Reading these 2 lines of explanation, Gu Qingshan's expression became serious. So this is the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. The Grand Tai Wei Mountain is the outermost layer of the samsara. According to ancient legends, outside of the samsara worlds, there are winds of chaotic tribulation that can destroy everything. They are forces even more terrifying than the space vortex. Once the winds of chaotic tribulation enter the world, all living beings and the world itself will be wiped out. Against the winds of chaotic tribulation, no living being can escape, even the world itself will be destroyed. The Grand Tai Wei Mountain is the only thing that can stop this wind. It is the divine mountain that protects the entire samsara. The lower half of the Grand Tai Wei Mountain is submerged under the Forgetting River. There are many underground tunnels that lead all the way down to the abyss below. The legendary 18 layers of hell are located in the abyss below the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. This mountain protects against chaotic tribulation on the outside and suppresses hell on the inside, an unimaginable mountain. Gu Qingshan looked at the Grand Tai Wei Mountain, paused for a moment, then flew towards the direction of the mountain. It couldn't be helped. There was nothing else in the river of forgetfulness other than the green-robed lady. He had no choice but to enter the mountain. After flying for less than an hour, a series of loud noises could be faintly heard up ahead. Gu Qingshan listened attentively. The golden spears and armored horses roared angrily. A thick, murderous aura pervaded the entire mountain. By this time, Gu Qingshan was already very close to the Great Tai Wei Mountain. Gu Qingshan focused her gaze, only to see that the entire mountain is filled with demons and dead people. They formed a dense mass and fought against each other. There were all kinds of strange demons, humans, giants, devils, and chaotic creatures. They slaughtered each other and fought chaotically without stopping for even a moment. Gu Qingshan quietly sank into the water and observed. Had the demons already taken over hell? But it didn't seem like it. Some of the dead had allied with the demons to kill other dead. The other dead were fighting back with everything they had, killing the demons with everything they had. All of a sudden, a sharp tearing sound came from the sky, attracting Gu Qingshan's attention. This sound was the sound of an extremely sharp blade cutting through the air. Gu Qingshan stayed close to the shore and looked at where the sharp blade came from, only to see that at the foot of the Forgetfulness River, countless demons and dead people had gathered together to fight against another group of dead that only had a few hundred people left. These 100 people were fighting as they retreated towards the Forgetfulness River. You want to run? You cowards should just obediently go back to hell and sleep. A fiend-kind roared. It seems that in hell, the dead all use their thoughts to communicate, so souls of different eras can understand each other. The 100 or so dead were slowly being killed. The remaining 10 or so dead were protecting a human dead who was clad in armor and wielding a long sword. Even when surrounded by demons and dead people, they still managed to fight. This slope was connected to the foot of the mountain, so all the demons and dead people surrounded them, wanting to kill this last group of dead back to hell. But this dead human wasn't easy to kill. The blade in his hand was extremely powerful. Every time he brandished it, the long saber would emit a chilling arc-shaped saber light. In front of the arc of light, all the demons and dead people that surrounded them couldn't do anything against it and were killed in an instant. But there were too many demons and dead people. As soon as one group was killed, the next group would immediately fill up the gap, even closing in a bit. The demons were closing in from all directions. This dead human tried his best, but could only barely keep himself from being attacked. His subordinates were quickly killed, leaving him alone. Die! Die! Die, all of you! The dead human roared, turning his body to make sure that the blade's attack range didn't have any blind spots. Very quickly, he was the only one left. He staggered, almost falling a few times. Once he fell, the demons and dead people wouldn't give him a chance to stand up again. The earth's sword hovered in the air, asking in a low voice, "What now?" "Save him first," Gu Qing-shan answered. With a single thought, the earth sword flew out. The earth sword carried the weight of a few million tons, turning into a blinding crescent white sword phantom. This sword ray was so huge that it instantly cleared out a huge area in the midst of the demons. Any demons that tried to stop the earth sword were cut into mincemeat. That dead human finally had a chance to catch his breath. But he was already covered in wounds. As soon as he relaxed, he couldn't stand up straight and fell on his butt. "Who are you?" He looked at Gu Qing-shan and shouted. "The one who saved you," Gu Qing-shan answered. The blade suddenly let out a screech. "I can't do it anymore." The dead human held the blade and said, "You have to save it." "Save a blade?" Gu Qing-shan flew forward, picked up the dead human along with his blade from the air, and brought them back to the Forgetting River. The river split in two. Gu Qing-shan brought the dead human into the Forgetting River, flying as fast as she could. The demons rushed to the Forgetting River, but didn't dare to enter. They knew how dangerous it was. As soon as they fell into the Forgetting River, they would either be reincarnated into hell or reincarnated in another world. The Forgetting River's law was no exception to the demons. Following a few angry and unwilling roars, the demons could only stand by the river and watch. "Get out of the way, we're coming," a dead fiendkind hissed. The dead could enter the Forgetting River. They all jumped into the river, trying their best to catch up to Gu Qing-shan. Gu Qing-shan swung the Chao-yin sword behind her. Waves of the Forgetting River rose up, slamming the dead back onto the shore. When the dead struggled to stand up and wanted to enter the Forgetting River again, they found that the water had returned to normal. That person was gone. A few dozen miles away, at the bottom of the Forgetting River. The dead human fell to the ground, no longer moving. A few moments later, he sunk into the ground and disappeared without a trace. His wounds were too heavy, so he died. The earth sword spoke with a heavy voice. "That's right, I was hoping to get some information from him," Gu Qing-shan said. "The dead will return to hell to sleep and wait for the next time they wake up." Gu Qing-shan was a bit annoyed. Originally, he wanted to ask about Huang Quan before deciding on his next course of action. But who knew this person would die so quickly? While he was thinking about catching another dead, the blade on the ground moved by itself. Gu Qing-shan raised her eyebrows and held the earth sword tightly. "Don't be nervous, we're on the same side," the blade spoke up. "Ah? How did you know I'm on the same side as you?" Gu Qing-shan stared at the blade and asked. "This blade is quite powerful, I can't be too careless." "Aura, you have her aura on you, so of course you're on our side." The blade stood up. It said. A white glow manifested on the blade's hilt. It was a small snow-white bird. The small white bird flew up and circled around Gu Qing-shan twice. Chapter 452. As Gu Qing-shan looked at the small white bird, he quickly understood. This is the blade's spirit. As for the dead human, no need to look, I can't swing myself, so I found a dead person to use me. The small white bird breathed heavily as it spoke. "Which means, the one who's actually fighting is you?" Gu Qing-shan asked. "That's right, I'm the bone-rending hellspawn blade. You said I have her presence on me. Who is she?" "Ah? You've never seen her before? That can't be right, you do have her presence on you." The small white bird was surprised. Gu Qing-shan replied, "The blue dress maid? I've seen her before, I just don't know who she is." "You don't know who she is? Interesting, since she didn't reveal herself. I can't tell her who she is without permission." The small white bird observed Gu Qingshan with a curious expression. Gu Qingshan didn't dwell too much on this issue. If she doesn't want to tell me, then so be it. There's something more important that I need to ask right now. This humble one is Gu Qingshan, from the human realm. May I ask which machine number you are? He clasped his fist. The small white bird seriously listened, then suddenly opened its eyes wide. As if it couldn't believe this question. The small white bird landed on the handle of the blade and pointed at it with its claw. Take a good look, I'm a blade, not a machine. Gu Qingshan froze. A blade really isn't a machine. Which means, besides machines, there are other things in Huangquan, he muttered. Of course, using machines to deal with things is more efficient, but if something happens in Huangquan, we still need to show up, the small white bird proudly declared. Gu Qingshan then asked, I want to ask, what's the situation in Huangquan? That I don't, the small bird said. Gu Qingshan cut it off. I know you can't tell me, just tell me where the important things are happening, I'll go take a look myself. These things in Huangquan, they never tell me anything. Gu Qingshan was already a bit annoyed by this. The small white bird hesitated. I came for the human realm, please help me, Gu Qingshan said. The small white bird said, You came from the human world? Have you seen those machines? In truth, only 4 of them managed to reach the human realm safely, Gu Qingshan replied. Gu Qingshan repeated the process of the arrival of the machines. The small white bird said excitedly, In that case, you really are a reinforcement from the human world? Reinforcements. Reinforcements from the human world, Gu Qingshan was speechless. Why does this word sound so harsh? I was even hoping for reinforcements from Huangquan. But now, Huangquan's weapon had been turned around, so he could only count on the human realm's reinforcements. Gu Qingshan sighed and helplessly said, Yes, they can be considered as reinforcements. The small white bird asked, How should I cooperate with you? I need to know exactly what happened in Huangquan, Gu Qingshan replied curtly. The small white bird stuttered for a while before answering. Actually, that terrifying incident happened all of a sudden, at the time. I fell asleep. Seeing Gu Qingshan's indescribable expression, the small white bird hurriedly explained. With over 80 machines, the world of Huangquan has always been well managed. It's been a long time since I've used an ancient weapon like myself. It stretched out its wings and patted its head. That's why I was a bit lax, in other words, even this bird doesn't know what happened. Then why did you cooperate with a dead person? This is something that happened in the last 2 days, I can tell you about it, please go ahead. With the great calamity of Huangquan looming, the dead people of Hell split into 2 factions. One of them wanted to cooperate with the demons to destroy the world of Huangquan and escape from the torment of Hell. The other faction wanted to fight against the demons, hoping to save Huangquan and use their merit to redeem their sins so that they can reincarnate as soon as possible, the small white bird added. As a weapon of Huangquan, of course I'm willing to fight alongside the latter faction, Gu Qingshan nodded. If that's the case, then the chaotic scene just now makes sense. Just now, he was observing for a long time before he finally found a chance to save the dead person. This was completely out of caution. Dead people only need to sleep in hell to revive after they die, but Gu Qingshan can't. During that brief moment just now, Gu Qingshan faintly sensed the presence of several demon lords deep inside the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. The Grand Tai Wei Mountain has already fallen into the hands of the demons. Gu Qingshan couldn't help but ask, Does no one care about hell? Where are the divinities of Huangquan? Are they all dead? The small white bird answered. I'm not sure either, but when I woke up, there were no longer any divinities in Huangquan. But you don't know where all the divinities of Huangquan went. I'm sorry, after the machine revolution, I haven't come out for a long time. It was only when I sensed the world's calamity the day before yesterday that I woke up. Hearing that, Gu Qingshan sighed. I've only just arrived in Huangquan, so I don't know what I'm doing right now. The most important thing right now is information. Only by knowing what happened can I plan and use my power, he asked. If you don't know, then there must be other entities that do. Do you think they do? The small white bird answered right away. I'm guessing that divine armament sensed the world's calamity before I did, so it must know everything. Who is it? One of the 3 divine armaments, the forgetting river soul flaying hook. It never sleeps and has been recording everything that happened to the souls of the dead. Really? Gu Qingshan couldn't believe this bird anymore. The small white bird guaranteed. That's right, its information network is the best. Nothing in Huangquan can be hidden from it. Can you take me to it? You just saved my life, and I still have that entity's presence on you. Of course I can take you there. The small white bird flapped its wings and flew into the bone-rending hellspawn blade. The blade spun a few times in the air and pointed in a certain direction. That way. All right, let's go find it right away. Wait a minute. The blade stopped Gu Qingshan. What is it? I have to tell you first, the forgetting river soul flaying hook is a divinity's weapon. Without its permission, you can't hold it, otherwise you'll die right away. I know, I'll be careful, let's go. The bone-rending hellspawn blade carried Gu Qingshan all the way to the bottom of the forgetting river. Gu Qingshan checked her soul points. She was constantly using her soul points to avoid the forgetting river's current. Over 1,000 soul points were slowly being consumed. I need to speed up. The Grand Tai Wei Mountain. At the foot of a secluded mountain, Gu Qingshan peeked out from the forgetting river and lightly leapt onto the shore. There was no sun, moon, or stars in the sky, but there was a gentle light that shone down evenly, illuminating the surroundings with a cold and cheerless color. This looked like a night in the world of Huangquan. A solemn temple appeared in front of Gu Qingshan. The entire temple was silent, not a single sound could be heard. This is the place. The small white bird flew out from the blade and landed on Gu Qingshan's shoulder. What is this place? Gu Qingshan asked. This is the forgetting river soul flaying hook's temple of worship. Inside is its spirit summoning incantation. Spirit summoning incantation? That's right, the forgetting river soul flaying hook is a manifestation of the forgetting river's law. Only the divinity of Huangquan can wield it. Normally it doesn't show itself. Any entity other than the divinities that want to communicate with it must use its spirit summoning incantation for it to come out. Chapter 453. Gu Qingshan and the bone-rending hellspawn blade came ashore. He carefully crouched down behind a boulder on the shore, quickly observing his surroundings. This place was quite far away from the divine armament's shrine of worship. Gu Qingshan suddenly remembered something. This is the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. He looked down and stared at the ground. I'm standing on top of this legendary divine mountain. Gu Qingshan couldn't help but poke the ground with the earth sword. Sparks flew everywhere, but not a single mark was left. The small white bird asked, "What are you doing?" "This is the body of the Great Tai Wei Mountain. No force can move it at all." As Gu Qingshan looked at the grayish rock surface, he couldn't help but ask, "Why is this mountain exactly the same as the rocks at the bottom of the forgetting river?" "The bottom of the forgetting river is also a part of this mountain," the small white bird answered as a matter of fact. Gu Qingshan was a bit surprised, then understood. "You mean, the forgetting river flows inside the Grand Tai Wei Mountain, and the entire Huangquan is made up of the Grand Tai Wei Mountain?" Gu Qingshan asked. "That's right, no power can move the divine mountain, not even the winds of chaotic tribulation from outside the world can harm it," the small white bird proudly declared. Hearing that, Gu Qingshan's mind was shaken. Who would have thought that the entire world of Huangquan was made up of a single mountain? This divine mountain silently stood tall in Huangquan, helping the 6 worlds of reincarnation to resist the winds of chaotic tribulation. "All right, I understand now, but why would a weapon like you fall asleep?" the small white bird explained. For the past 1,000 years, Huang Quan had already entered the era of industrial revolution. After the appearance of the 88 automated machines, everything became very orderly. That's why a lot of weapons from the age of old slowly disappeared. Gu Qingshan asked, "Where did you all go?" "Our bodies are also placed in this shrine of worship, but the weapon spirits are all in a state of retirement. Only when we hear a summon or sense a world-ending calamity will we come out to check the situation. That's why very few people come to this shrine of worship." Gu Qingshan stared at the shrine and asked, "That's right, let's go." The small white bird flapped its wings. "Wait." Gu Qingshan was still lying on the shore. This place was at the edge of the Forgetting River. As long as Gu Qingshan wanted to, she could hide in there at any time. "Such an important place, I don't believe the demons would let it go," he said softly. As Gu Qingshan stared at the temple of worship, her expression gradually turned solemn. Although that place was quiet, there was an obscure aura floating about. There was an uneven amount of dust on the ground around the temple, as if it had been blown away by the wind. "I've come into contact with quite a few demons these past 2 days. It seems like they only know how to destroy and kill," the small white bird said. "Those are all monsters, not demons. Demons are the smartest and most powerful monsters," Gu Qingshan said. With a single thought, the Chao Yin sword floated in the air. The tip of the sword slashed through the air, aiming at the temple of worship. "Go!" shouted Gu Qingshan. Buzz! The Chao Yin sword turned into an afterimage as it flew over the hill. The flying sword quickly circled around the divine temple, rushed into the distant sky, and disappeared. After waiting for 2 breaths of time, the sky above the divine temple began to warp. This warping slowly spread out. Only after confirming that everything was fine did it slowly disappear. "What was that?" the small white bird asked. Gu Qingshan scowled. "Monsters don't have such a camouflage technique. I'm guessing it's a high-ranking demon. Should we go and kill it?" Gu Qingshan cautiously replied. "No, demons have all sorts of strange methods, and we don't know how many demons there are inside the divine temple, so let's just take a step back first." A few minutes later. Another secluded hill. The small white bird sighed. "The demons are currently taking over the entire divine mountain. It's getting harder and harder to find a place to stay," Gu Qingshan suggested. "How about I think of a way to lure the demons away? You go in and awaken the divine armament." "No, the weapon spirit can't use summoning incantations. You'll have to do it." Saying so, the small white bird flew into the bone-rending hellspawn blade. A pale white glow came from the blade and seeped into the ground. "What are you doing?" Gu Qingshan was surprised. "I'm summoning a few powerful dead to help," the blade replied. A few moments later, a large gray wolf swam along the river. This gray wolf was as tall as 5 people, giving off an intimidating presence. The gray wolf looked at the bone-rending hellspawn blade and spoke in human language. "What do you need from us?" "Wolf King, reinforcements from the human realm are about to enter the divine temple, so we're asking for your help," the bone-rending hellspawn blade replied. Wolf King observed Gu Qingshan for a bit, but didn't say anything. A few moments later, a few more dead swam out from the Forgetting River. "Where did they come from?" Gu Qingshan asked in a low voice. "The entrance to hell is in the underwater mountain. They came from hell," the blade replied. With Wolf King leading the way, 2 giants, 1 fiendkind, and 3 humans stood in front of Gu Qingshan and the bone-rending hellspawn blade. The giant's body was bound by heavy chains that had already been broken. His face was full of ferocity, but his eyes were calm. The fiendkind was shrouded in a sharp golden glow that obscured his figure. The humans consisted of 2 males and 1 female. The 7 dead stared at Gu Qingshan without stopping. A few moments later, they gathered together, discussing something in a low voice. "They look quite imposing," Gu Qingshan commented. The small white bird jumped out from the bone-rending hellspawn blade and spoke. "After the divinities disappeared, the 18 layers of hell were led by the strongest dead of each layer. These are the 7 leaders. So they want to save Huang Quan and use this merit to atone for their sins? That's right, 18. So, the remaining 11 hegemons all want to work together with the demons to destroy hell? The small white bird sighed. That's right, the demons are very powerful, and with the support of 11 leaders, the entire hell is already in danger. At this point, the 7 leaders of hell finished their discussion. One of them, an old man, came up and greeted Gu Qingshan. "Greetings, my compatriot," the old man said. "My compatriot?" Gu Qingshan repeated. "That's right, after all, I'm the only human among the 7 leaders of hell. If I'm the one to negotiate, things will be much easier," the old man said. Gu Qingshan's gaze went past this man and looked at the other male and female. The old man waved his hand dismissively. "Don't look, they're Asuras, not people of our world." Gu Qingshan was surprised. The man was tall and burly, but his appearance was extremely fearsome. Any normal person would feel their heart palpitating at the sight of him. The female, on the other hand, was a beautiful woman with an elegant demeanor. Who would have thought it would be exactly as the legends said? Gu Qingshan silently thought. According to humanity's legends, the Asura men were average-looking, while the women were extremely beautiful. The Asura realm has always had countless peerless beauties. This once caused the heaven realm to be envious and greedy, often leading to conflicts and wars between the heaven realm and the Asura realm. From what I see now, this legend wasn't just a myth. It turns out that the Huang Quan realm of the Samsara doesn't only accept the dead of the human realm. There are also the hungry ghost realm, heaven realm, Asura realm, and animal realm, Gu Qingshan muttered. As soon as he said that, Wolf King's ears perked up. "Buddy, you can't call it that, animal realm sounds terrible, we all call it the Beast King realm," the human old man hurriedly said. "All right, Beast King realm." Gu Qingshan changed his mind. The old man finally calmed down. He explained to Gu Qingshan, "The divinities of the heaven realm naturally wouldn't stay in Huang Quan for too long. The ghosts of the hungry ghost realm all advocate the destruction of hell. They're actually the evilest entities of the samsara, they should be called wraiths instead. Wolf King comes from the Beast King realm, the giants, fiendkind, and I come from the human realm. The man and woman over there are both from the Asura realm. Now, we have finished our self-introductions. Please introduce yourself." The 7 leaders all looked at Gu Qingshan. "This humble one is Gu Qingshan, a human sword cultivator." Gu Qingshan clasped her fist. The old man nodded. "Gu Qingshan, I'll make it short, the current situation in hell is already very dire. Even with the fiend blade summon, we still need to confirm that you're strong enough to participate in such a major event, otherwise, we won't waste our time on you." "That's fine. You're a human, you don't have the ability to revive in hell, so out of respect for the fiend blade, we won't hurt you. Please show us your strength," the old man said. He then spoke in a low voice. "Those guys are all very arrogant, none of them want to talk to you, so since we're all humans, I'll remind you to put on a good show." Gu Qingshan smiled. "Earth Sword, here you go." "Very well," the Earth Sword responded and appeared from the void of space. It flew in front of the Lord of the Dead and hovered there. The powerful dead exchanged glances, not understanding what the human soul in front of them meant. "If anyone can make my sword move even a little bit, I'll leave right away. I won't bother you anymore," Gu Qingshan said. Hearing this, the 2 Asuras were very interested. Asuras have always been warlike. They're very interested in all kinds of competitions and bets. The male Asura stepped forward first and tried. The Earth Sword didn't move. The male Asura didn't believe it, chanted an incantation and pulled the Earth Sword with both hands. The Earth Sword didn't move. "Don't stare at me," one of the giants spoke with a gruff voice. He pushed the male Asura away, grabbed the Earth Sword, and began to pull. "Arg!" The giant roared in pain. The Earth Sword didn't move. The giant took out a rock hammer from somewhere and raised it up high. "Ha!" the giant roared. The rock hammer carried intense wind as it struck the Earth Sword. Dong! The giant's feet were knocked off the ground, the rock hammer broke into pieces and fell to the ground. Chapter 454. The 86,370,000 tons Earth Sword has the weapon Spirit Thaumaturgy. Bear your own weight. Only those that the Earth Sword approves of will be able to pick it up. Against these dead people, it wouldn't use this thaumaturgy. Not only that, Gu Qingshan also infused a Kai Shan style into the Earth Sword. Kai Shan style, heavy weight. With the Earth Sword's weight combined with the Sword Saint style, none of the dead people here could move it at all. After that, the leaders all tried, but still couldn't pull the Earth Sword out. The male Azura returned to the female Azura and obediently knelt on the ground. He kept explaining things to them. The female Azura's eyes gleamed with excitement as her charming face lit up with excitement. "Idiot!" she lightly scolded. The male Azura lowered his head, clearly dejected. The female Azura turned around and spoke to Gu Qingshan. "Human, your weapon is indeed powerful, but we want to know how strong you are. What do you want?" Gu Qingshan asked. "Please help me use my blade technique. If you can block 3 of my attacks, I'll admit that you can participate in hell," the female Azura said. The small white bird looked at Gu Qingshan. "Sure," Gu Qingshan replied. With a single thought, the Chao Yin sword appeared from the void of space. The bone-rending hellspawn blade flew into the female Azura's hand. The female Azura held the blade in one hand, forming a hand seal with the other, and shouted, "Scatter!" 5 clusters of water appeared around her body. The water quickly took human form and turned into her. In front of everyone, 6 identical beauties appeared. The beauties raised their blades. The 6 beauties looked at Gu Qingshan and spoke in unison. "It's still not too late for you to beg for mercy." Seeing this, the male Azura had a look of admiration on his face. This was an extremely difficult secret skill to master. It required a water elemental secret art as well as a blade secret art. Azura, Rahu's secret skill, water body. Gu Qingshan smiled. "A rare skill, please." The 6 beauties nodded and leapt towards Gu Qingshan. A blade phantom flashed. Clang 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 clang. Gu Qingshan slashed with the Chao Yin sword. Each of the female Azura's attacks were blocked by Gu Qingshan. In the blink of an eye, 3 strikes had passed. "Your swordsmanship isn't bad," the female Azura shouted. She didn't seem to have any intentions of stopping. Instead, she manifested several more afterimages to surround Gu Qingshan. The blade moved like a shadow, mysteriously slashing at Gu Qingshan's body. A few times it almost hit Gu Qingshan. "How delightful!" The female Azura revealed a beautiful smile. The Azura's blade. The female Azura blade, Qing body, blade phantom, Qi sword and blade, the body. Sword body, Gu Qingshan didn't body, doesn't she? And stood up, she sword. The female Azura attacked several hundred more times, fighting to her heart's content. Finally, she stopped. "What is it?" Gu Qingshan asked. "I've come into contact with humans in hell. According to their usual performance, there shouldn't be anyone as strong as you in the human realm. I've come into contact with humans in the infernal realm. According to the usual performance of humans, there shouldn't be anyone as strong as you in the human realm." He's seen through the other party's strength. He had already figured out his opponent's strength. Azuras are said to be warlike, so this female Azura's strength could be considered decent even among the dead. Even with such strength, during the fight just now, the female Azura didn't try to kill him. She was actually testing his strength. Since Gu Qingshan has a good impression of this, she didn't try to kill him and was actually testing his strength. Since Gu Qingshan had a good impression of this, he didn't try to kill her. Through this test, he was able to understand which category the leaders of hell belonged to. The human old man silently gave him a thumbs up. The other dead people looked at each other and nodded silently. They discussed for a bit. "Now you can join us to fight against the other hells. It was now that Wolf King opened his mouth and spoke to Gu Shan for the first time. "Thank you, but I need to go see the Forgetting River Soul flaying hook and find out the truth," Gu Shan said. "What's the point of knowing the truth? It's already like this, we might as well go kill." Wolf King impatiently spoke. The ground suddenly shook. The entire Grand Tai Wei mountain began to shake. This divine mountain, that can withstand the winds of chaotic tribulation, started to let out continuous rumbling noises. "Oh no, this feeling, it's a summoning!" The human old man's expression changed. "Something is calling us," Wolf King growled in a low voice. "I feel I must go," the giant spoke slowly. "No. Let's help him first," the female Azura resolutely said. The other leaders froze. "I can see through the strength of anyone I've fought before, this is my thaumaturgy, did you forget?" the female Azura very seriously said. Obviously, the female Azura had quite a bit of authority among them, so the leaders quickly listened to her. "Then let's hurry," the fiend god said. He turned into a mass of light, flew to the sky and headed towards the divine armament worshipping temple. The giant quickly followed after the fiend god. Before this, Gu Shan was already far away from the holy temple, so there was still quite a bit of distance between here and the mountain. "Hurry! Hurry! Hurry! We'll be forcefully summoned back to hell very soon," the human old man said. He also flew towards the holy temple. The rest of the leaders of hell all flew together. Gu Shan shouted in a low voice, "What happened just now?" I don't know either," the small white bird hurriedly replied. "Let's keep up," Gu Shan said. Halfway there, they heard the angry roar of the giant coming from the holy temple. Over the mountain, Gu Shan froze in place, muttering, "Soul-devouring arachnid!" A battle was taking place in front of the holy temple. One of the giants was turned into a grayish-white statue, crumbling into dust in the blink of an eye. The other giant was sent rolling far away on the ground. The fiend god flew in the air, unleashing elemental attacks one after another. However, these attacks dispersed midway, and did not reach the divine temple at all. A 5-colored spider sat on top of the holy temple, about the same size as the entire holy temple. The top half of the spider's body was that of a naked man. This was a soul-devouring arachnid, a synonym for power even among the demons. In the past life, he once saw this kind of demon. This kind of demon lord had the strangest thaumaturgy. It hunted using inner sight. When a living being's inner sight intertwined with its, they would immediately fall into a muddle-headed state. This ability was especially terrifying in large-scale battles. Normally, as long as a single soul-devouring arachnid was present, the entire battle could easily turn into a one-sided massacre. It would also be very difficult to assassinate it. Its own strength was comparable to a remodeled demon lord. The soul-devouring arachnid opened its vertical pupils wide and smirked. "A bunch of dead people, instead of sleeping in peace you came here to cause trouble, truly, Shah!" Several dozen blade phantoms struck his face, cutting off the rest of his words. "Azura? Damn it!" The man was furious, lightly moved his 8 spider legs, and quickly climbed down from the holy temple. He was about to chase after the leaders of hell. But Wolf King howled as his body grew to the same size as the soul-devouring arachnid. He slammed into the soul-devouring arachnid, forcing it back a few steps. "Run!" Wolf King howled. The leaders of the dead immediately ran away. "You scum!" the soul-devouring arachnid roared in anger. His 8 spider legs slightly bent as the soul-devouring arachnid chased after them. Its huge body was unexpectedly nimble and agile. The leaders of the dead were in front, the soul-devouring demon emperor arachnid was behind, one fleeing, one chasing. They quickly went away. The male Azura suddenly appeared in front of the holy temple, waving at Gu Shan. "Quickly go in," he shouted. Gu Shan's figure disappeared and reappeared in front of the holy temple. The human old man also ran out from the holy temple and said, "There are no demons inside, you go in, we'll watch over you." "What do we do if the arachnid returns?" Gu Shan quickly asked. "We'll buy you some time and cover your escape." Gu Shan was moved. "Then you might. It's just sleeping, it's fine, those who have died can't die again." The old man waved his hand dismissively. Gu Shan agreed, nodded to the two of them, and entered the holy temple. The holy temple was still silent, as if no one had been here for thousands of years. Gu Shan's gaze quickly scanned through the entire holy temple. There were many sacrificial platforms here. Each of them had an ancient weapon on them. Blades, spears, swords, halberds, axes, battle axes, hooks, forks, whips, maces, hammers, truncheons, sticks, lances, clubs, crutches, meteor hammers. These were all cold weapons from the age of old, a total of 66 of them. These weapons didn't move at all, nor did they manifest any weapon spirits, as if they were in slumber. Gu Shan quickly found what he was looking for. It was the very center of the holy temple. On top of the sacrificial platform, there was a unique-looking weapon. From the handle and blade alone, it looked like a sword. But at the tip of the sword, the edge of the sword was curved in the shape of a hook. It silently floated on top of the platform, giving off a faint yellow glow similar to the forgetting river. Gu Shan flew in front of the altar on the hook. Without waiting for him to do anything, a ball of misty green aura leaped out and lightly touched the high platform. As the platform sensed this blue aura, a series of incantations appeared. Seems like this was the weapon spirit summoning incantation. Gu Shan was a bit surprised to see this. He originally thought it would take a bit more effort, but who knew the blue dress girl's aura would have such a wondrous effect? He looked at the weapon spirit summoning incantation and muttered, "Soul separation hook, forgetting river at your service, With a small sound, the hook on top of the platform moved a bit. The hook seemed to have become agile. It uttered a sound, "Huh? That seems to be her aura." The hook flew down from the platform and landed in front of Gu Shan. Gu Shan wasn't sure. This divine artifact seems to have been slumbering here. Could it really be that I can find out what happened in Huangquan by looking for it? The forgetting river soul separation hook also didn't say anything, as if trying to confirm something. After a while, the forgetting river soul separation hook spoke up. "Indeed, you do have her aura on you, seems like you're one of us." The hook's attitude became closer. Roar. An earth-shattering roar came from outside. Gu Shan's heart sank. The soul-devouring arachnid is about to return. Seems like the leaders of hell couldn't resist for very long, or as they said, they were forcefully summoned back to hell by something. Chapter 455. The forgetting river soul separating hook fell into Gu Shan's hand. Lines of glowing text appeared on the war god UI. Forgetting river soul separating hook, Huangquan Path's divine armament, used by divinities. All attributes of this divine armament are unknown. Unless it accepts you as its master, you will not be able to obtain its information. Gu Shan didn't have time to read too much, turned around and activated Ground Shrink. He reappeared outside the divine shrine. A strange inner sight scanned him. Back in the human realm, no one knew how to use inner sight, so Gu Shan could act as he pleased. But here, the soul-devouring arachnid's ability to control inner sight was ever-changing, far surpassing the understanding of the cultivation world. Noticing this inner sight, Gu Shan cautiously retracted it. He wouldn't allow his inner sight to leave his body and come into contact with it. "I'll stop it!" the male Azura shouted and rushed forward. "Hurry and leave!" The old man shouted and flew towards the arachnid. Halfway there, they suddenly disappeared. The soul-devouring arachnid laughed. "You headache-inducing dead, it's finally time to get rid of them." Its vertical pupils stared at Gu Shan, then at the forgetting river soul separating hook in Gu Shan's hand. "Seems like you're an insect from the human realm," Coming to a divine armament-worshipping temple, should I say you're smart or naive? Its gigantic body slightly crouched and turned into a blurred image. With a sharp gust of wind, the soul-devouring arachnid screeched as it flew towards Gu Qingshan. How fast? Gu Qingshan silently thought. I'll stop it, the small white bird called out. No need. Gu Qingshan reached out with his other hand to grab the bone-rending hellspawn blade and activated ground shrink. Now isn't the time to fight, I need to find out the truth first. The soul-devouring arachnid appeared at the entrance of the divine shrine, while Gu Qingshan disappeared and reappeared at the Forgetting River bank at the bottom of the hill. He went straight into the Forgetting River. The Forgetting River opened its arms and embraced him. The river closed up behind him. A second later, a furious roar came from the bank. The soul-devouring arachnid jumped again and landed on the Forgetting River bank. It laid on the shore, leaning forward to see where Gu Qingshan was. I was so close to catching him. This human is so sly. He had the aura of a cultivator on him, but why didn't he release his divine will? He has the presence of a cultivator, but why he's devouring river? The Forgetting River was the most powerful law of Yellow Springs. It represented the boundary between life and death. This is the origin law of Huangquan. Even a demon would not be able to resist this vast river. Gu Qingshan took the Forgetting River soul flaying hook and the bone-rending hellspawn blade and left in an instant. After flying underwater for a long time, he finally stopped. Hello, I'm Gu Qingshan. He greeted the Forgetting River soul separating hook. Devour River soul Saint Qingshan Yang. I devour Gu Saint knows everything. The Gu King of King, Hook God, Hook Gu Lu said. I am the Forgetting River soul separating hook. All the life and death of Huangquan, all the news is in my heart. I even know what you went through in Huangquan and what you want to ask. Gu Qingshan nodded. His heart was finally at ease. Finally, there's someone he can normally communicate with among the creations of Huangquan. Please show yourself and meet with me, Gu Qingshan said. You mean the artifact spirit? I'm already here, but I'm invisible. The Forgetting River soul separating hook gave off a faint yellow light. In the entire world of Huangquan, wherever there is light, I will be there, it explained. How powerful, Gu Qingshan silently praised. Can you tell me what happened in Huangquan? He asked. Of course, please use your inner sight to communicate with me. I'll show you what happened a few days ago. Very well. Gu Qingshan infused his inner sight into the Forgetting River soul separating hook. A few moments later, his back was covered in a thin layer of cold sweat, all the hairs on his body were standing up. Endless screams of pain suddenly resounded in his mind. A scene slowly unfolded. In the sky above the Grand Tai Wei Mountain, blinding clusters of light silently hovered. Occasionally, 7 colored figures of light would suddenly appear, piercing through the clusters of light. Whenever that happened, 1 or 2 clusters of light would fall. The clusters of light would hit the Grand Tai Wei Mountain, reveal their humanoid forms, then quickly turn to ash. Gu Qingshan tried his best to open his eyes wide, but could only see their dignified appearances the moment the light around them went out. They were the divinities of Huangquan. Their faces showed expressions of enduring extreme pain, then they died. On the other side of the Grand Tai Wei Mountain, a sea of demons crawled all over the mountain, silently waiting for the divinities to die. Between the divinities and the demons was an empty mountain range. A single demon lord was walking alone on the mountain range. It was heading towards the divinities of Huangquan. None of the living beings around it dared to approach it. Roar! With each step, the demon lord roared as if it was risking its life. The demon lord was holding a spear with both hands. As Gu Qingshan looked at the spear, her expression became serious. This was a giant spear, so large that even the demon lord had to use both hands to lift it. From the demon lord's expression, not only was this thing heavy, it also carried an eerie power. The spear was giving off a 7-colored light that illuminated the void of space. while the demon lord was screaming in pain. Gu Qingshan looked at it again. Although it was covered in layers of light, the body of the spear was very clear. It was engraved with numerous complicated runes, giving off an air of absolute dignity, as if all living beings in the world should kneel in front of this spear. A golden talisman was stuck on the shaft of the spear. The talisman was constantly giving off golden light that enveloped the entire spear. Even the 7-colored light on the spear was being restrained by the golden light. Occasionally, one of the light would fly out and hit the divinities on the mountain. The divinities that were hit were instantly killed. Watching the scene in front of him, Gu Qingshan's mind quickly turned. With her 2 lives' worth of experience, this spear doesn't seem to be a demon's weapon. The demon lord didn't move forward for too long. On the Grand Tai Wei Mountain, several divinities suddenly rushed towards the demon lord. The demon lord reacted quickly and peeled the golden talisman off the spear. Right away, countless 7-colored spear phantoms appeared on the spear and shot out in all directions. Against these 7-colored spear phantoms, the divinities couldn't resist at all and fell to the ground. Behind them, several tens of thousands of demons were also killed. Even the demon lord that carried this 7-colored spear was kneeling on the ground. Pieces of flesh and blood fell from its body. Just by peeling off the golden talisman, the demon lord that wielded the spear couldn't take it anymore. Its entire body was collapsing. Gu Qingshan was shocked. Just by peeling off the golden talisman, the spear killed divinities, demons, and even several tens of thousands of demons. This was too terrifying. Several large demon lords rushed out from the horde of demons. Along the way, several demon lords were killed by the 7-colored spear phantoms and fell to the ground. The demon lord that was hiding at the very back was lucky enough to survive. It finally reached the center of the mountain, grabbed the golden talisman and stuck it on the 7-colored spear. Instantly, all the spear phantoms disappeared. The spear was once again enveloped by the golden light of the talisman. The new demon lord picked up the 7-colored spear and continued heading towards the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. Behind it, the demon lord that was holding the spear fell to the ground, turning into a river of blood that flowed towards the Forgetting River. Just by using the spear once, the demon lord died. The new demon lord picked up the spear and took 2 steps forward. The divinities on the mountain released a white light that covered the entire sky. The white light pressed down on the demon lord. The demon lord immediately took off the golden talisman and aimed it at the white light. Sisisisisi. Sharp 7-colored streaks of chi flew out from the spear. The white light scattered. On the Grand Tai Wei Mountain, the divinities of Huang Quan that were facing the spear fell one after another. And the demon lord that used the spear also fell. Extremely far behind the demon lord, several tens of thousands of demons were killed by the flying 7-colored spear phantoms. Blood flowed like a river, Gu Qingshan exclaimed. Indiscriminate attack! As the demon god fell, several more demon gods rushed out. A demon lord picked up the golden talisman, stuck it on the 7-colored spear, and continued forward. The demon lord from before was already lying on the ground, no longer breathing. Gu Qingshan scowled. What she saw was completely unimaginable. Ignoring both friend and foe, able to kill divinities and demons from afar. What kind of weapon is this? The demon lord continued to walk towards the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. This time, no divinities came to attack it, but as it walked, its steps began to falter. Not too long later, it knelt on the ground. Even with the golden talisman's suppression, the 7-colored spear's power was slowly killing the demon lord. Such power was simply unimaginable. A gigantic demon lord that exuded boundless divinity power flew forward. The demon lord received the spear and continued to walk towards the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. The demon lord that knelt on the ground quickly died. The divinities retreated towards the top of the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. But the demon lords continued to carry the 7-colored spear, chasing after them one by one. After almost 100 demon lords died, the divinities were forced into a dead end. Chapter 456. The divinities of Huang Quan retreated towards the top of the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. But the demon lords raised their spears and chased after them. From where they were, the distance between them and the divinities was getting closer and closer. The demon lords fell one by one. Immediately, a new demon lord took the spear and continued forward. Finally, the divinities of Huang Quan couldn't retreat anymore and attacked the spear. The demon lords opened the golden talisman. The spear gave off endless seven-colored light. The divinities died one after another. Finally, all the divinities had fallen. During this entire process, a total of 197 demon lords had fallen. Each of these demon gods was an ultimate weapon formed from the combination of god and demon. In any world, they were a decisive force that could influence a war. But here, they were only used to carry the seven-colored spear. The last demon lord that died tried to stab the seven-colored spear into the top of the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. The entire Grand Tai Wei Mountain was seamless, even the winds of chaotic tribulation outside the world could be stopped. The seven-colored spear couldn't stab into the Grand Tai Wei Mountain either. The demon lord had no choice but to lean the spear against the wall of the mountain. After doing that, the demon lord roared in pain and rolled down the mountain. Halfway down, the demon lord's entire body turned into a puddle of blood. It was killed by the seven-colored spear. Even with Gu Qingshan's experience from 2 lives, she was still shocked to see this. Now do you understand what happened to Huang Quan? The forgetting river soul separating hook asked. Gu Qingshan tried her best to remain calm and said, I have a question, go ahead. The demons have always had an endless amount of people. Against other worlds, they always won with overwhelming numbers, so why did they have to pay such a heavy price in Huang Quan? Because Huang Quan has the forgetting river, no matter how many they have, it doesn't matter. And because the 18 layers of hell are deep inside the Grand Tai Wei Mountain, the laws there protect the dead, so the demons can't do anything to hell. After all, the dead can't die, they only need to sleep to recover. That's why, that's right, I don't know where they got that seven-colored spear from. Only that spear can deal with our Huang Quan world. Whose weapon is that spear? No one knows. Is there really no way to resist at all? Even with the divine might of the deities, no matter how many methods they thought of, they were all useless. That pike doesn't differentiate between friend and foe, destroying everything in its path. Gu Qingshan pondered, why not hide in the river of forgetfulness? The river of forgetfulness is the most fundamental law of Yellow Springs. Gods and demons entering the river of forgetfulness will only result in reincarnation. I don't understand, with just a spear, he can kill a fiend god. Gu Qingshan muttered. The world of Huang Quan is already fated to be destroyed. The demon's other plans are also being carried out one after another. Are you still going to watch? The soul separating hook asked. Yes, of course. Gu Qingshan raised her head and said, Use your divine will to communicate with me. All right. Another scene slowly unfolded. After the fall of the gods, the demons had taken over the entire Tai Wei Mountain. In a hidden corner of the divine mountain, the demon broke through a defensive barrier. They began to frantically dig through the barrier. The divine mountain couldn't be excavated at all, so the place they were excavating was actually something else. It was a pile of rocks that looked exactly like the other rocks on Great Tai Wei Mountain. But these rocks could be dug out. It was obvious that this place had been used as a concealment to prevent others from discovering something. The demons dug out a wooden coffin. They paid a huge price to break the layers of seals on the wooden coffins. After a while, the wooden coffin finally opened. A staff appeared in front of the demons. It had a long, pitch-black handle, and the tip of the staff was a skull with a sharp horn. A winged demon swooped down and caught the staff with its beak. It flapped its wings and flew towards the forgetting river. The staff was tossed into the forgetting river. A streak of black light emerged from the staff. In the blink of an eye, the staff vanished. "What is that?" Gu Shan asked. "The Devil King Warden Rod that was sealed in the world of Huang Quan during the Age of Old," the forgetting river soul separating hook answered. "Ghost King? There's a Ghost King in Huang Quan?" Gu Shan asked in surprise. During the Age of Old, the world of Huang Quan was originally ruled by the Devil King. At that time, there were only 9 layers of hell, not the 18 layers now. Later on, the divinities of the heaven realm coveted the power of Huang Quan to control the life and death of all living beings, so they sent 8 divinities to manage Huang Quan. At first, the divinities were responsible for arranging living beings to enter hell, as well as arranging where the dead should go after they've gone through hell. The Devil King was responsible for ruling the 9 layers of hell, commanding all the dead souls and ghosts in hell. Later on, there was a conflict between the two sides. The divinities from the heaven realm and the Devil King went to war. That was the first divinity war of Huang Quan. With the Devil King Warden Rod in hand, the Devil King was unstoppable, forcing the divinities to flee back to the heaven realm. That powerful. That's right, among the 3 divine armaments of Huang Quan, the Devil King 10 Hell Rod was the most powerful, far more powerful than the other divine armament and myself, so the divinities were about to lose. Fortunately, at that critical moment, the divinities descended from the heaven realm to Huang Quan. Almost the entire heaven realm came. The heavenly god even used benefits to convince the Azura realm, the Beast King realm, and the Wraith realm to send troops to invade Huang Quan. Devil King led the dead to fight, but couldn't win against the divinities of the 4 worlds and was killed by the heavenly god. From then on, the Devil King Warden Rod was also sealed away. Because they were wary of this divine armament's power, the Devil King Warden Rod's weapon spirit was also killed by the divinities, while the weapon itself was sealed away. Wait a minute. Gu Shan closed her eyes to think for a bit, then asked, "If what you're saying is true, the demons took out this divine armament in order to be like the Devil King of old, commanding the 18 layers of hell." "No, the demons can't use the Devil King Warden Rod." "Why not?" "According to the law of hell, the one who wields the Devil King Warden Rod must be a dead person from hell. Then why did they take out this divine armament?" "The demons currently can't invade the human realm, but hell can. Once the Devil King Warden Rod is taken out, it will definitely return to the 18 layers of hell. Although it doesn't have a weapon spirit, according to its law, it will definitely choose a new Devil King. This divine armament is too powerful, and it also has a secret technique that allows the 18 layers of hell to escape from the world of Huang Quan." Gu Shan understood. "So that's why. The reason why hell keeps appearing in the human realm is because of this." "Has the Devil King been chosen?" "Not yet, but soon," the forgetting river soul separating hook answered. Gu Shan deeply sighed and said, "Once the new Devil King is chosen, it will definitely command the entire 18 layers of hell to invade the human realm." "That's right. When the 18 layers of hell leave the world of Huang Quan, the law of Huang Quan will begin to collapse. When the 18 layers of hell enter the human realm will definitely not be able to stop them. When both the world of Huang Quan and the human realm are destroyed, the entire samsara will fall into chaos. At that time, the 6 worlds barriers will automatically collapse. The demon army will directly invade hell, the human realm, the hungry ghost realm, the Azura realm, the Beast King realm, and finally the heaven realm. Chapter 457. Hearing that, Gu Shan felt cold sweat dripping down his back. Who would have thought that the demons would plan such an earth-shattering event? Both Huang Quan and the human realm were about to be destroyed. The demons were about to succeed. Gu Shan stood at the bottom of the forgetting river, speechless for a long time. After a while, he asked, "Are all the divinities of Huang Quan really dead? Not a single one left?" "That's not it," the forgetting river soul separating hook answered. Gu Qingshan's heart jumped. Which divinity is still alive? He hurriedly asked. They're not alive, they're missing. The 8 most powerful divinities of Huangquan had already disappeared before the incident occurred. Where did they go? Not sure, fine. Seems like I can't count on the divinities. They probably ran away already. Gu Qingshan thought for a bit and asked, Can the 7-colored spear kill you? It will only actively attack divinities and demon lords. As long as weapons like us don't actively attack it, it won't care, the small white bird cut in. I once had the 7 leaders go up the mountain to take the 7-colored spear, but as soon as they touched it, they were killed into a puddle of blood. Because the dead have already died, these dead immediately returned to their own hell to sleep. Where's the 7-colored spear? It's still at the top of the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. Since the Grand Tai Wei Mountain can withstand the wind tribulation, it's naturally not afraid of that spear. However, all the structures and existences on the mountain were destroyed by the spear. Saying so, the small white bird couldn't help but sigh. The forgetting river soul separating hook sent him a scene. The 7-colored spear was perfectly still leaning against the wall, still placed at the top of the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. The golden talisman was stuck on the spear, temporarily sealing it. Seeing this, Gu Qingshan shook his head. There's no way to deal with such a terrifying creature. The forgetting river soul separating hook spoke. It's because you were cautious and didn't rush up the mountain, otherwise you would have died on the spot. Gu Qingshan asked, What happened to hell? The scene changed again. Deep beneath the Grand Tai Wei Mountain, the various hells had already gone out of control. Although the dead were still suffering in hell, they were already thinking of a way to leave Huangquan and head to the human realm. The first level of hell, Blood River Prison. The dead were soaked in boiling blood, suffering the pain of being boiled. In addition, there were monsters in the blood water, tearing at the bodies of the dead from time to time. Crossing the Blood River Prison, his line of sight followed the flowing blood to the deepest part of the Blood River. There is a slope here. All the blood was left outside the slope. Occasionally there would be some half-dead dead who would be able to reach this place. This was the entrance to the Hell of Peeling. The dead rolled down the slope faster and faster. Clumps of blades stabbed into the slope, cutting the rolling dead into pieces. After the dead died, they would wake up again from the place where they died. He would continue to roll down the slope filled with sharp knives until he was completely dismembered again. Rolling, dismemberment, death, resurrection, this cycle continued for a total of 693,810,000 li. Only then did he pass the second layer of hell. The bottom of the slope was connected to the third layer of hell, the frozen hell. Only half of the frozen hell was still underground, the other half had already disappeared into the void of space. Obviously, this hell was trying to find a way to go to the human realm. Gu Qingshan carefully observed this hell. 15 powerful dead stood in the middle of the frozen hell, surrounding the Devil King Warden Rod, using their powers to send the frozen hell away from Huangquan. Gu Qingshan saw a familiar face among them. The black-cloaked skeleton. How did they find a way to send hell away from Huangquan? Gu Qingshan couldn't help but ask. The Devil King Warden Rod's secret technique to leave Huangquan. That was created by the first Devil King to invade other worlds after taking over Huangquan, the soul-separating hook replied. As long as the dead touch the Devil King Warden Rod, they'll be bestowed this secret technique. They'll learn the technique to send hell away from Huangquan. From the deepest part of the frozen hell, a few more powerful dead came flying. They put their hands on the Devil King Warden Rod. The scepter gave off a black glow. Very quickly, the dead showed expressions of realization. They also joined the other dead, and began to cast spells to speed up the escape of the frozen hell. At this point, the Devil King Warden Rod shook a bit and disappeared. It's gone to the next hell to teach the technique, the forgetting river soul separating hook said. This Devil King Warden Rod has its own consciousness? No, in the age of old, its consciousness had already been destroyed by the divinities. Then it can still do these things? Once the Devil King Warden Rod seal is undone, it will go to every hell and teach them the method to leave. This was one of the missions that the first Devil King gave the scepter Gu Qing Shan muses. There's another secret technique on the Devil King Warden Rod. What is it? That's a technique that only the Devil King can use. With the scepter in hand, the Devil King can use that secret technique to open the 18 layers of hell, allowing all the dead to appear in Huang Quan. The forgetting river soul separating hook continued. The laws of hell are too powerful, so the Devil King Warden Rod has many other abilities that we don't know about. Her gaze moved. The Devil King Warden Rod appeared in the chewing hell. The dead were walking on the barren ground. Occasionally, iron dogs, iron tigers and iron lions would jump out of the ground to chase them, bite them, and eat them. A few particularly powerful dead came, holding the Devil King Warden Rod in hand. They began to receive the secret technique. After the chewing hell was the eroding spring hell. The dead on this level will have their bodies slowly corroded by the spring water. Only when even their bones are completely corroded will they be considered dead. The deeper one went underground, the more suffering one would have to endure in hell. Cannon fire hell, stone crushing hell, blade mountain hell, roasting hell, human rod hell, steamer hell, skinning hell, heart burning hell, bone cutting hell, poison hell, oil frying hell, sawtooth hell, pill pinching hell. These hells are divided into minor hell, great hell, and endless hell according to how much pain they have to suffer. Although the dead suffer a lot in minor hell, they only have to suffer for a short period of time before they can reincarnate and reincarnate. In the great hell, the dead have to suffer for 500 years before they get a single day to rest. Only after their sins are reduced a bit will they be transferred to the minor hell. The most terrifying of them all is the endless hell. In this type of hell, the dead are constantly being tortured. If nothing goes wrong, they will never be able to escape. In Gu Qing Shan's vision, there are only dead people in all of the hells. There's no divinity that controls them. In each layer of hell, the powerful dead are gathered together, using the Devil King Warden Rod's secret technique to control the hell. They want hell to leave Huang Quan and enter the human realm. After all, as long as they can eat human flesh and drink human blood, the pain of hell will be slightly reduced. If they can eat a person's soul, the dead will become even more powerful. That was yesterday's scene. Today the Devil King Warden Rod will complete its second mission. What does it want to do? To choose a Devil King, of course, the forgetting river soul separating hook side. After the Devil King is born, he will wield the Devil King Warden Rod to completely rule over the 18 layers of hell and invade the human realm. Look, this is today's scene. The scene changed. Between the blood pool hell and the poison hell, 5 powerful dead have been chosen each. They are fighting in front of the Devil King Warden Rod. The final winner would advance to the next round. The 18 layers of hell will choose the strongest dead. This strongest dead will be the new Devil King. Chapter 458. This was the power of the entire world collapsing. Gu Qing Shan calmed down. He asked again, "What are the demons doing?" The forgetting river soul separating hook answered, "They've blocked all paths into Huang Quan, sealing off the entire world. It's already like this. Why are they still being so careful? Because the remaining divine armaments of Huang Quan, some of them are trying to communicate with the 7-colored spear, while others are trying to stop the Devil King from being born." The scene changed. The top of the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. The 7-colored spear was stabbed into the ground. 5 to 6 streaks of light were circling around the spear, occasionally letting out screeching noises. They were the ancient weapons of Huang Quan. They were trying to contact the 7-colored spear. The scene changed again. In a certain hell, several powerful dead were fighting each other. Finally, all the other dead were killed, leaving only the 2 strongest dead. The 2 strongest dead were covered in wounds. They were attacking each other with everything they had, fighting for the final victory. All of a sudden, a dim yellow blade appeared from the ground, slashing through the bodies of the 2 dead. The blade flashed in the air. The two dead died with it, falling back into slumber. The battle in this hell didn't produce the strongest dead. After all the dead awaken, they'll have to fight again. From the looks of it, the Devil King's birth has been delayed. Gu Qingshan fell into thought. The hells of the human realm have already appeared, but haven't taken over the world yet. The powerful ones among the dead are currently on guard against each other, busy competing for the Devil King. I'm a soul. Can I compete for the Devil King? Gu Qingshan suddenly asked. You can't, you only look like a dead, but you're not a real dead. Is that so? The forgetting river soul separating hook suddenly shouted. Oh no! What's the matter? Gu Qingshan asked. Another hell has chosen the strongest dead. Now 15 hells have chosen the strongest dead. Once all 18 hells have chosen the strongest dead, the Devil King will begin. Since there are no divinities in Huangquan, the Devil King will be the one to command everything. We can't stop that from happening, Gu Qingshan asked. What about the demons? They're everywhere in Huangquan, but they can't enter hell. When the Ghost King completely destroys the human world, the barrier between the 6 realms will disappear. At that time, the demons will be able to enter every world easily. So, this matter can no longer be stopped. Yes. Saying so, the forgetting river soul separating hook fell to the ground, unmoving. Gu Qingshan was also stunned. Coming to Huangquan, everything was unheard of. The demons rose up from Huangquan and took over 6 worlds. He had never heard of such a thing in his previous life. Furthermore, that 7-colored spear was simply a peerless weapon that could slay gods and demons. The fiendish demons were truly generous. There's no turning back, he muttered. The forgetting river soul separating hook suddenly stood up and shouted, Look! Gu Qingshan immediately held it in her hand and immersed her inner sight into it. On the Grand Tai Wei Mountain, the 7-colored spear shot out a spear shadow. The spear made a circle in the air. Instantly, all the Huangquan weapons that were flying in the air were cut to pieces. These were all weapons formed from the law of Huangquan from the age of old, but they couldn't even stop a single attack from the spear. On the other side of the mountain range, a great distance away, countless fiendish demons let out sky-shattering laughter upon seeing this. Even the demon lords that were as tall as the sky couldn't help but laugh. From start to finish, the demons have been hiding on the other side of the mountain, silently watching the situation unfold. They know very well how powerful the 7-colored spear is, so they've been waiting for this to happen. It's over, it's over. The forgetting river soul separating hook dejectedly said. Not yet, let's keep watching, Gu Qingshan spoke in a low voice. Dozens of sparks of light rose up from the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. They flew to the sky, slowly moving in a mysterious orbit. It's the other 36 ancient weapons, the soul separating hook shouted. They're forming the great formation of Huangquan from the age of old. The forgetting river soul separating hook's voice was already trembling. Is this formation very powerful? Gu Qingshan asked. It's said that during the age of old, a terrifying demon lord appeared, so powerful that even the 8 Yama kings couldn't defeat it, so they could only use the great formation of Huangquan to trap it and throw it into the space vortex, letting it escape, the soul separating hook answered. You mean, these divine armaments also want to do the same? That's right, using weapons to form a formation is unprecedented. I'm not sure if they'll be able to succeed. Gu Qingshan looked at the top of the Grand Tai Wei Mountain. The 7-colored spear silently stood there, the golden talisman still sealing it. The reason why it rarely attacks is probably because of this talisman. Gu Qingshan looked at the spear and suddenly asked, Is there really nothing that can stop this spear? Isn't the Grand Tai Wei Mountain fine? The Grand Tai Wei Mountain can, but it's useless, it's not like we haven't tried before. The forgetting river soul separating hook sighed and spoke. That entity on the Grand Tai Wei Mountain is indeed the only one among the 3 divine armaments of Huangquan that can stop the 7-colored spear, but for some reason, It was already heavily wounded before the war even started. After the war started, it was only able to stop the seven-colored spear a few times before it was sent flying, and so what? If it can stop the seven-colored spear? Now that all the divinities are dead, even if it fully recovers and reappears, it won't be able to kill all the demons in Huangquan, nor will it be able to stop the Devil King from being born. Now that the situation has come to this, there's nothing we can do to stop it. Gu Qingshan rubbed his forehead, feeling a bit out of ideas. The 36 weapons in the sky were still slowly brewing the great formation of Huangquan. But even if they can trap the seven-colored spear, there's still the Demon Lord and the Devil King. This is truly an unstoppable situation. Gu Qingshan went silent for a bit. He told the forgetting river soul-separating hook and the bone-rending hellspawn blade, "Give me a bit of time, I need to think." He walked a bit further away, silently stood with his back facing the two weapons. What is he doing? We don't have much time left. The small white bird was surprised. Saying so, it was about to fly over. A sword appeared from the void of space to stop the small white bird. "Don't go," the earth sword whispered. "You're his weapon?" The small white bird said. "Shoo, don't say anything, give him some time to be alone," the earth sword said. "The hellspawn blade has returned," the forgetting river soul separating hook said. "Perhaps knowing too much of the truth has caused him to feel despair, perhaps he needs some time to calm down, so that's why," the small white bird said. The earth sword said, "That's not the case, he only needs to think, so please remain silent." The Chao Yin sword held up space. The other three weapons remained silent. For a while, the bottom of the forgetting river was completely silent. Countless streams of water flowed like mountains, leaving long lines of light as they flowed past Gu Qingshan's head. Gu Qingshan didn't move. Is there a way? If this is a war, what should I do? After a while, his eyes slowly lit up. While thinking, Gu Qingshan returned. "How is it, what do you think?" the forgetting river soul separating hook asked. Gu Qingshan replied, "There's not much time left, this is very troublesome, but it's not like there's no hope." "What? Hope? You mean there's still hope?" The small white bird became excited. "For the current situation, we humans have an old saying." "What saying?" You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.